What up, what up? This is David from the 5-6 Kings. And guys, I don't know. There's a thing that happened that I intentionally didn't talk about on the last episode, and I've gotten several texts. Most recent one, and the straw that broke the camel's back was David Straley last night texted me while I was asleep, and then being like, I'm going to stop texting you because you're asleep, but you should talk about this on the show. John Oliver did a whole thing on his show Last Week Tonight with John Oliver on HBO Max, the future streaming home of the 5-6 Kings podcast. And he did a whole episode on Subway. And there was a time where, because he talked about a lot of the stuff that I've talked about over the last year. Talked about a lot of it. Talked about some stuff I didn't know about. There was some Korean, soap opera thing that was it was fucking wild. It was like this girl who was dating a Subway worker who introduced her to this plant-based sub that they had at Subway, and then another sub maker there introduced her to steak and cheese, and she fell in love with steak and cheese. And, kissed that guy at the end. She's like, I love steak and cheese. And he's like, what? And she's like, I love steak and cheese. And he's like, what do you mean? And she's I love steak and cheese. And then they kiss. It was fucking bananas. But, he talked about Fred DeLuca. He talked about, the franchisees being angry and all that shit and blah, blah, blah. And there was a time where I would have jumped to their defense. I would have shit all over John Oliver. I would have made John Oliver quit comedy. But guys, we're in a post-Derek Jeter world now. We're in a world where Subway hitched their wagon to Derek fucking Jeter and take him down, John Oliver. Yeah, they mistreat the franchisees. Yeah, Fred DeLuca was a fucking monster. Sending out calendars of himself fucking shirtless, and he's like, yeah, look at me. I run Subway. Telling franchisees, we can open a franchise as close to you as we want. You can't do shit about it. You can't do shit about it, and then we can come in and take the store from you. He's a fucking monster. He's a monster whose company besmirched his... Fred DeLuca's not a monster. I take that back. Fred DeLuca is not a monster, all right? Fred DeLuca, you're the best. They loved seeing your shirtless body. You could have done whatever you wanted, the franchisees. Them besmirching your good name. And hitching their wagon to Derek Jeter, the most overrated player in baseball. Can we just say that for a second? He was good. If he played for a team other than the Yankees, he's fucking Jim Edmonds. All right? And Braden doesn't even know who Jim Edmonds fucking is. All right? Jim Edmonds played for the Blue Jays. I'm not looking at the camera. I'm looking at you over the corner. He played for the Blue Jays. He played for the Cardinals. Very good player. All-star. Maybe in the Hall of Fame, but no one talks about him like they talk about Derek Jeter, because Derek Jeter played for the fucking Yankees, and Derek Jeter ruined the Miami Marlins. It's like, they beat me in 2003. The Marlins won the 2003 World Series. I can't live with myself knowing that. I'm going to bury that franchise. Jim Edmonds wouldn't do that. Marlins would be chasing after back-to-back World Series rings if Jim Edmonds was running the ship. But he's not. We live in a post-Derek Jeter world. And Subway, Derek Jeter, and anyone who supports either of them can go fuck themselves. Enjoy this week's episode, guys. What up? What up? And welcome to another episode, the unofficial podcast of the National Football League, the world-famous and critically acclaimed 5-6 Kings podcast. I'm David Breen, with me as always, Braden Bowler. Braden, how are you, man?
I'm a little scared. My heart's pounding, and I don't even know why.
Doing the fucking Departed, we have to play that song.
I'm shipping up to Boston, and songs of just build some fucking rage.
She fucking going. I'm ready to run through that fucking wall right now.
Like the Kool-Aid Man?
No, like a fucking animal. Like Reagan Malia, the fucking juggernaut.
Oh.
There's one person listening right now who's going to know what I'm talking about. Mike, I love you.
Oh man, yeah, I fucking feel that shit, David.
Right? Just fucking amped.
I hope you guys feel that.
Just fucking amped, man.
Yeah.
Let's do this thing.
Let's fucking
do this thing. How's your work? How's shit going? How's life?
It's good. It's getting busy. It's getting busy. I'm getting to the thick of it. I'm off of like 5 hours of sleep right now, but I'm shipping up the boss. He's got my fucking heart racing.
Right? That's why we do it.
That's why we do
That
it.
is why we do it here on the 5-6 King.
And I'm kanging and banging as usual.
As usual, we have it no other
I've never
way.
said that before.
You have. You've said it once before.
Did I?
Yeah.
All right, there we go. All right. You know, thought I was being original. Guess I'm not.
Well, I mean, you're right. I've never heard it from anyone but you, so it's original.
Yeah, but we're kanging and we're banging. Show that fucking bang. Maybe we'll
I'm
get
not
a bang
doing.
spot.
Don't tell me what to do. All right.
All right.
Don't tell me the product placement of very successful company. I'm gonna keep it on the ground. That's where it'll stay.
They're probably one of the biggest businesses though that just market with just like influencers and stuff. I mean, every influencer that's a real influencer. I mean, they got a bang.
Anyone who's anyone.
Anyone that's got like over 50,000
Anyone
followers.
who's anyone is drinking bangs.
Sponsored by Bang.
Not us, but
Not us.
we're
but-
nobodies.
Yeah.
All right. This is a fun route that you took us, Braden.
Yeah, sorry.
Really, you happy with yourself right now?
I feel
You happy?
departed.
Now we get sad.
Get it?
Now we get sad.
See what I snuck in there?
Yeah, but that didn't fit. You feel departed?
Yeah, feel
He's
deceased.
dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Took us down that route. Now I just feel dead.
No. See, you're ruining it. Think of all the energy that we brought in to this episode. And just we're just fucking nosediving.
All right,
now,
so
man.
what
We're
up, what
fucking
up?
nosediving
Come on,
right
give me-
now. Don't you say my line. Don't you dare say. Don't you ever say my line.
Now I'm really starting to feel
You get to say the Nutty Professor in every motherfucking Monday.
okay.
That is it. Peace out.
Yeah, I like that one.
If I'm missing one, I'm sorry.
It's probably some shitty South Park.
So,
reference.
guys, we did The Departed this week.
And it was good.
I mean, if you have not seen The Departed, go watch The Departed.
Yeah.
Fuck this podcast. Pause it.
Usually it
watch
would be the
Departed.
opposite. You'd be like, nah, you could just watch the podcast.
Yeah, no, but The Departed's a great movie. Very well acted. Very well fucking to the point. They nailed it. Scorsese direct this?
Yes.
Yeah. Martin Scorsese, one of the greatest directors of all time, directed it. Leonardo DiCaprio, Jack Nicholson, Matt Damon, Marky Mark, Martin Sheen. The list goes on and on.
It is a stacked cast.
The list goes on and on. Braden, I'm going to guess this budget. I'm going to guess it wasn't ridiculously high. I'm going to guess $60 million.
It was higher.
Significantly higher?
A little bit higher.
$80 million.
90.
$90 million.
90
There we
million.
go.
Fun fact. First fun fact of the day. Well, actually, I'm not going to give the fun fact. I want you to guess.
Just give the fun fact. That's insane.
You sure? No,
Yes.
because this is a good.
This is going to be a long episode. This is crazy.
How much do you think? How much of the budget do you think went to the cast, with all the top casts that's in there?
I don't know. $60 million.
That was pretty good, but half of it, 45 million.
That's not half of 60.
No, 90.
Okay.
Yeah.
Half of your guess. I was
No,
like,
no, no,
"Ah,
yeah,
dude,
yeah.
let's stop. Yeah.
Pretty wild though.
But like, where else would the money have gone? It's not like this
No,
was.
yeah.
This wasn't like a crazy over the top action. It had awesome actors, awesome stars who killed it.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
It definitely wasn't expensive to get all the different locations that they had, and you know, for however long that they used them for. So yeah, I mean, it totally makes sense, but at the same time, it's
How
just
much?
like,
How much of that budget went to the Dropkick Murphys?
I have no idea, David.
So that's the fun fact.
Oh,
That's
fuck.
fun fact. Where you're like, they had to give the Dropkick Murphys $20 million.
Should have looked that
to
up.
use shipping up to Boston.
Yeah. Well, we don't know. So I was gonna say,
I'm sure it wasn't that. They had fucking Rolling Stone songs and stuff. There's no way they
That was
spent a
the bulk.
ton
Yeah.
on Dropkick Murphys.
but they ended up grossing world,
Yeah. That's how we do it. You make me guess how much
all the other
the
things.
budget went to a certain thing, and then you just say what they made.
You know,
I'm gonna say they grossed worldwide $145 million.
higher,
190 million.
a little bit higher.
195 million.
$213.
$213. Good for them. They happy
Yeah.
with that?
I think so.
Yeah, there you go.
It should be.
You pay Leonardo
Oh, did I?
DiCaprio whatever the fuck he wants.
I fucked up. It's $290.
$290. How'd
Yeah.
you fuck up that much?
I saw
Just
I saw
scroll
the
down now.
I saw the gross of Canada. I saw the 13.
So you saw that it was 132 million.
Well, I like went up really
and you
quick
said
because
213.
yeah, because I saw I scrolled up really quick to try and shun it from you. Listen, Bucko, you know how many times I get hey, whoa, what are you doing?
It's 132 in the U.S. and Canada.
No, yeah, I said worldwide.
Yeah, 213's nowhere on there, Braden.
It's 290.
Don't act like this is my fault that you said 213.
No, I'm saying
that's a number that
scrolled
doesn't
up.
exist on the screen.
Oh my God, look at them.
So what did they make worldwide?
291.
291. They're very happy with that.
Very happy with that.
Very happy with it.
Yeah.
Let's talk the next thing that we talk about. Which is of course ratings.
Yeah.
What are the critics saying?
So IMDb gave it an 8.5 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes give it a 90%. Metacritic gave it an 85%, and Google users give it a 93%.
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go. What'd you give it?
Give it a 9.
Give it a 9?
Flat 9. I think that's my first flat.
Guys, this might be the first time other than Alpha Dog, which of course we both gave a 10, that Braden and I are giving it the same score.
Ooh.
We're both going 9. It's a very good movie.
Yeah, very good
It's
movie.
a very good movie.
And I think one thing that's a little underrated when it comes to like how great this film is their editing. Because like there's so much going on and they do such a great job at like setting up all the different storylines and how they bring it together, but at the same time not giving too much away and giving just enough at the right time so where like the viewers can really like enjoy the movie and like move along with what the characters feel too, like the main characters, like we feel what they feel as it's like happening. And it's probably really hard to do that with all the different scenes.
I'm sure, dude, this movie was super smoking aces-y.
Especially in the beginning, I would say.
But without really feeling like it was.
Exactly.
Like, that's it. Like, Smoking Aces tried to do this. And you're just like, this is exhausting how much they're jumping around.
Yeah.
The Departed is all over the fucking map the whole time. But every scene feels like they tell you a lot and they take as much time on it as they need to. It's very well done. I can't imagine how hard it was to make that happen.
Yeah, and it's like there's so many different scenes, but they all correlate in a way to where it's like it makes sense. Like you don't ever feel like you're lost going into another scene with other characters from like the last scene. You're like, oh, this you don't even think twice about it. It just blends together very well. So kudos to the editing. Oh my God, wrong pipe. That's exciting.
Oh, man.
It's such a wild experience. Just the human body. I mean, all it takes is just a couple drops down the wrong pipe.
Oh.
And now David's reborn.
Oh. Oh, my God.
That was a war cry at the end.
That was, I mean, I had to, it's still in there. I thought I was getting it all out. Let's talk about awards, man.
Yeah. All right, guys. So this is I think maybe the most out of any movie we've done for the amount of wins and nominations. There might be something close, but they have 97 wins and 141 nominations. So I'll try to go through the best.
And we are going to read through every single one of those.
Every single one. So 30 minutes later. All right. So they won Oscars for Best Motion Picture of the Year, Graham King. Best Achievement in Directing, Martin Scorsese. Best Writing and Adapted Screenplay, William Monahan. Best Achievement in Film Editing.
Who is Graham King? Why do I not know that name?
Sounds very familiar. So he is producer.
Okay, so you produced it?
Yeah. I'm sure he's probably like, on a lot of things. But Best Writing, Adapted Screenplay, William Monahan. Best Achievement in Film Editing, Thelma Schoonmaker.
Good on her.
And let's keep going because there's a fucking shit ton.
Are you kidding me?
Huh?
I mean, you gotta at least acknowledge that Mark Wahlberg was nominated for
nominated.
Best Supporting Actor,
Yeah.
the Academy Awards. That I would put money on that being his first nomination. Maybe his only nomination. He's been fucking nominated.
Honestly, I
since
think
then?
this was his best performance I think I've seen.
He was incredible.
He was incredible.
He was
He's on the money.
Yeah, and he's not like even the other supporting actors like Martin Sheen is in it a lot more than he is.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can, like, who would you say? I think the main characters would, like, the main actors would be Damon and DiCaprio. Like, I even think Jack Nicholson. I don't know that was a lead role.
Yeah, I would say, it's just probably
Those
Leonardo
two are the lead actors.
and Matt Damon are
Yeah.
probably the two leads, yeah.
Yeah, like, Jack Nicholson's in this movie a ton. He's great.
He's like a supporting lead.
Mark Wahlberg was better
Yeah.
in his limited role. He was great.
Yeah. Wow, that's pretty crazy because that is kind of saying that's between him and Jack Nicholas.
Yeah, and what year? Nicholson.
Nicholson, yeah.
Nicholas, Palm Beach County legend. Great golfer.
Mm-hmm.
Masters winner, U.S. Open.
You see those photos. He's just swagging it. He's got the swag on the golf course.
The Golden Bear, man.
Yeah.
That's what Palm Beach County does.
Yeah.
What year were those Oscars?
2007.
Okay.
So I'll also read off a couple other nominations in the meantime. They were nominated for Screen Actors Guild Awards, Outstanding Performance by a Male Actor in Supporting Role. Leo. How was that? How the fuck are they trying to say Leo is a supporting role?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's crazy.
And how he wouldn't win.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. So we'll move on from there. They won Best Editing Feature Film at the American Cinema Editors Awards. Definitely deserved that. Once again, I feel like the editing was something that was kind of underrated for how great this film is. But they won Top Box Office Film at the ASCAP Film and Television Music Awards. They won at the Austin Film Critics Association Best Actor Leonardo DiCaprio and Best Supporting Actor Jack Nicholson. That makes sense.
Can I jump in?
Yeah.
So, Best Actor was won by Forrest Whitaker for Last King of Scotland. Gotta be honest, I've never seen it. Leonardo DiCaprio was fucking phenomenal in The Departed.
Yeah.
Have you seen the movie Blood Diamond?
Yes.
Which performance do you think was better on his part?
I think this was, but I think that maybe to him, Blood Diamond might have been more challenging because he has to do like a South African accent. He's probably
this bitch ain't from Boston.
True, but I'm just saying he's stepping into waters that are probably more unknown to him.
Sure,
Sure,
he can relate more to a fucking guy
in Boston.
Than he can to a guy in South Africa hunting diamonds.
Yeah,
but we agree the performance was better in The Departed.
Yeah.
He was nominated for Best Actor in Blood Diamond in the same year. I guess they both came out. Great year for him.
Great year for him.
I think
this definitely probably set the tone for the rest of his career.
I think he should have been nominated for The Departed.
Yeah,
not for this.
Mm-hmm.
And fucking, I haven't seen The Last King of Scotland, so I'm not going to speak on that. But I find it pretty hard to believe Forrest Whitaker did better.
Yeah,
and then Alan Arkin won it for Little Miss Sunshine. He's great in that. I think it was he's old and he's not going to be alive much longer, so we're going to give Alan Arkin a fucking Oscar instead of fucking Leonardo DiCaprio. And Alan Arkin's still alive. Look at that. Dude's 88. Dude's 88.
He hears this.
He got that. He got that fucking sympathy Oscar. I love Little Miss Sunshine. It's a great movie. You seen Little Miss Sunshine?
Actually, I haven't.
Very good movie. You gotta check it out.
I think I've seen clips of it.
Yeah,
it's great. It's the movie I'm thinking.
It's great, and he's very good. Mark Wahlberg was better. Eddie Murphy, though.
There you go.
Eddie Murphy and Dreamgirls that year.
Oh,
I mean,
I thought you were gonna say Nutty Professor.
No, that was years before, and he won, and it was Best Actor, not Supporting.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well.
Yeah. So there you go. That's the Oscar roundup there. Not to get too derailed, but
nice. So they won at the Directors Guild of America Awards, Outstanding Director Achievement in Motion Pictures, Martin Scorsese, then a couple assistant directors, but they.
Do you think he goes to that?
No.
Like at what point do you think
maybe
Scorsese
probably
is just like, I don't need to go to that fucking thing to pick up my award?
Yeah, he's already like renowned as like one of the best ever.
Yeah.
You know, he probably doesn't really give a shit. Maybe he does. Yeah. But they won at the Edgar Allan Poe Awards, Best Motion Picture Screenplay, William Monahan. So I guess he was one of the main screenwriters. Good for him because he wrote a fucking great
Fantastic.
movie. Yeah. They won Best Thriller at the Empire Awards. Let's see. There's a shit ton, so bear with me. Oh, Florida Film Critics Circle Awards. We can't pass that up.
Let's fucking hear it.
So they won Best Film, Best Supporting Actor, Jack Nicholson. Best Director, Martin Scorsese. And Best Screenplay, William Monahan.
I mean, Florida, they fucking get it.
They fucking get it, dude. All right, so now we got the Golden Globes. They won Best Director, Motion Picture, Martin Scorsese. Got a bunch of nominees. Best Motion Picture Drama. Best Performance by an Actor in a Motion Picture, Leonardo DiCaprio in a Drama. Best Performance by an Actor in a Supporting Role in a Motion Picture, Jack Nicholson. Best Performance by an Actor in a Supporting Role in a Motion Picture, Mark Wahlberg. And then Best Screenplay, William Monahan. So, Golden Schmoes.
Let's hear it.
They won Favorite Movie of the Year, Best Director of the Year, Martin Scorsese. Best Screenplay of the Year, William Monahan. Best Actor of the Year, Leonardo DiCaprio. Best Supporting Actor of the Year, Jack Nicholson. Best Music in a Movie. Can you imagine just winning all these fucking awards?
Let's scroll to, let's see if they got nominated for a Razzie.
So nominated for a Grammy, Best Score Soundtrack, Howard Shore. Let's see.
It was a great score.
Yeah, it was a great score. You know how I love them fucking scores, David. So we got the International Online Cinema Awards, Best Ensemble Cast, Best Actor, Leonardo DiCaprio, Best Adapted Screenplay, William Monahan. That's what they won.
There we go. Scroll down to R. Scroll down to R. We can skip Italian.
MTV Movie
Kansas
Awards.
City. Yeah, fuck MTV Movie Awards. Fuck every single one of them.
Oh, yeah. People's Choice. Fuck it.
No Razzies.
Nope.
There we go. As it should be.
Yeah. All right. So, Writers Guild of America, they won Best Adapted Screenplay, William Monahan. Good for that
William
guy.
Monahan.
And,
we click on him. What's he done since this?
yeah, let's see what
Let's check on Monahan.
So.
Scroll up. I like the ones with the pictures.
Oh, you like the ones with the pictures?
Yeah.
Known for The Departed, London Boulevard, Kingdom of Heaven, Edge of Darkness.
Looks like this bitch ain't done shit since The Departed.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go. But good for him.
Honestly,
Won
yeah.
a fuckload of awards. Won an Oscar.
And, like, you do something like that, you could just be like, fuck it. I'm just going to, I'm going to coast it.
I'm sure he's kind of just picked his, they'll pay me $10 million to write the script for this. Great.
Yeah.
I'll write the script for this movie that's going to be dog shit regardless, but they'll have me write the script and I'll try to salvage something and get paid a shitload of money. Good for him.
Yeah, good for him.
We gonna...
Oh, David.
We gonna dive into this shit or what?
Please. I want to get all in there.
Do 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 boo 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 do boo 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 do 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 boo boo do 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 boo do 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 boo do do boo do. That song's playing in the beginning. It says Boston some years ago, and we hear Jack Nicholson's voice, and he says, "I don't want to be a product of my environment. I want my environment to be a product of me." And then he starts talking about guineas and N-words. And he said, the only real issue I got with the black chappies is that life ain't handed to you. You got to take what's yours. So I guess Jack Nicholson just right off the rip is saying black people are lazy and entitled. And I'm like, Jesus, Jack. You're coming out hard. Coming out real fucking hard. So now he's at it's like a little bodega grocery store that has a counter where people can go eat.
Yeah,
it's
corner store.
Yeah, but not like we don't have these down here. Corner store where you can go sit up at the counter and eat a nice breakfast and shoot the shit. Like we got A1A food store outside my mom's neighborhood where VJ's running it, but VJ ain't cooking up eggs and bacon, and I'm sitting at the counter eating with him. I'm getting a 561 hat and a 20-ounce soda.
Yeah, they
and
might
I'm
have
on
like
my
a
way.
$1 hot dog spinning.
They do not.
They don't even have that?
No.
Fuck.
You think you're going to tell me something about VJ's? About fucking VJ's A1A food store that I don't know?
You're right.
That's what we have down here. This looks cool. Looks like a little like old, you're in Boston. You go sit and everyone knows everyone.
Yeah.
He's Jack Nicholson's there. Frank Costello's his name.
Yeah.
That's how I'm going to refer to him. And he's talking to this guy, and he's like, if I got to come back here for this money again, we're going to have a real problem. Do you understand? And he's like, it won't happen again. And then he looks at this girl, and she goes, Darla's turning into a fine young lady, or whatever her name was.
Yeah.
She's turning into a fine young lady. And then she comes over. He's going to buy something. And she goes to take it, and he looks at her and goes, you get your period yet?
The first of many.
He's so fucking uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And then he looks, there's this little kid, and he goes, "You Johnny Sullivan's kid?" And he goes, "Uh-huh." He goes, "You live with your grandma?" He goes, "Yeah." And then he tells the guy running the store, he's like, "Why don't we get him a couple half gallons of milk, some loaves of bread?" He's like, "You like bologna and cheese?" Kid nods. Then he puts he has comic books. He's like, "You like comics?" And the kid nods, and he puts them in the bag, pays for him, gets the change, has the kid open his hand, and puts it in his hand. And he said, he gives the girl behind the counter $1 and says, "Buy yourself some makeup."
And like, but at first she was like very grossed out, and by the end of it, she seemed like she was down for the cause.
She is at a young enough age to where he had to ask if she gets her period yet.
Yeah, it was really
so.
weird.
I have no interest in talking about her in any sort of a sexual manner.
Well, I'm just saying,
like she's down. So like if anything Jack Nicholson does at this point, it's on her,
motherfucker.
It's on her because she's down. You know, she might have been like 15. He was like, "You get your period yet?" Like she's at that age where you're like, "Yeah, maybe she does, maybe she doesn't."
No, yeah, but it was just weird that gave her that direction. Yeah, by the end of it, you like it. Yeah, play it like that.
You're like, "Ooh, makeup, huh?" I'll get some makeup.
But yeah, that scene is there's a lot of irony and metaphors in this movie. So him having groceries and stuff is gonna come up later in some weird way. But
is there any chance? Let's pause this while we look at this.
Okay.
Is that the girl who Jack Nicholson is with for the rest of the movie?
That would be.
Let's. It might not be. I'm just piecing it together based off of Braden. She seemed into it, and I'm like, well, fuck, maybe that's the route this whole movie went.
Maybe that's why. Oh my god.
So guys, stick around. We'll be right back. Fuck Derek Jeter. Fuck Subway. It's not.
No.
Yeah. I mean, we're back. Sure. Whatever. Yeah, we're back. We're back. But it's not. That's kind of a bummer. I thought like, oh shit, I've seen this movie a million times. Did I not put that together until now? And is that the case? It's not. People online thought maybe too, but it's not. So he asks the kid. He's like, "You do good in school?" And the kid nods. He's like, "Yeah, so did I." They call that a paradox. And then he puts the money in his hand and he says, "If you ever want to earn a little extra money, you come down to my shop on L Street. Do you know where I am on L Street?" And he nods. We see the kid at a funeral, and then we see him. He's in a shop that Frank Costello, he's talking to he's got tons of kids in there. He's got like 20 kids.
Yeah.
And he's talking about the church, and he's like, the fucking church tell you to kneel, stand. And if you're into that sort of thing, I don't know what to tell you, but, where I come from, a man makes his own way. No one gives it to you. You have to take it. Non serviam. And then the kid goes, "James Joyce." Because that's who, James Joyce, the one who said that quote he just said.
Smart kid.
"Smart, Colin." And he says, "The guineas from the North End, they tried to tell me what to do, and I took an issue with that." And then it shows him, he's got a guy who we assume is a guinea. And he shoots him in the head. He's got him like tied up and kneeling on the shore somewhere. Shoots him in the head, and then he shoots his girlfriend in the head, and she falls on top of him.
So, fun fact, and I was thinking about saving this, but it's throughout the entire film. And this is a cool little fun fact that apparently Martin Scorsese stole from one of his favorite films. I'll tell you guys in a second. But every time he talks about murder, and anytime there is murder, there's an X that is in the scene. So there's always an X whenever someone's talking or actually committing murder throughout the movie.
Shit.
Yeah, but I could find it. I think it's So, it's a homage to the 1932 version of Scarface, which Scarface, the 1932 version,
it called Scarface?
Yeah, it's called Scarface. It's the 1932 version, but they did that as well. So it's one of his favorite films, so he paid a homage to it. But in Scarface as well, they did that. So anytime there's like murder being talked about or actually happening, they would put an X in
the 1932 Scarface.
Yeah, which I've never seen.
I didn't see, but the 1983 one
is amazing.
Sucks. So maybe the 1932 one is great. Martin Scorsese likes it. Who the fuck am I? So might have to check that one out.
Yeah, but fun little fact.
Yeah, that is cool. She falls on top of the guy, and Frank Costello goes, "She fell funny, huh?" And then his friend who's with him, who we come to know as Mr. French, says, "You seriously need help, Francis."
Now, do you think that was improv? I don't know. I don't have a fun fact, but I'm just asking. What do you think that was improv or
No?
No. Okay.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
And he's there, and he's talking to them. He's like, "When growing up in this town, you're either a cop or you're a criminal." And what I always say to that is, when you're facing a loaded gun, what's the difference?
What's the difference?
I mean, no truer words have ever been said.
Yeah.
And then, like, they stay on the kid's face, and then it turns into Matt Damon's face, and it's the kid grows up to be Matt Damon.
And
The actor, not Matt Damon's character in this movie.
good casting, by the way, too, because that kid did look like a
He looked like a young Matt
spitting.
Damon, yeah. Yeah, I was like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
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 He wasn't black or nothing.
Dude. Like, even just the shape of the fucking forehead.
Yeah,
You know,
it was
like, it
very
was-
well done.
Mm-hmm.
They got the right kid.
Yeah.
They got their guy.
Yeah.
Matt Damon he's at the academy, and it's showing him like taking classes and doing shit. Shows him playing rugby with a bunch of firemen.
Fun fact, he plays flanker, which he also played in the movie, what is it called? It's a movie about where South Africa won the Rugby World Championship, but he's playing the same position, and they lose after he scores. It's just kind of funny the way they shot that.
That was a weird, because it shows him... Did we stop recording?
No, we're good.
Shows him do something that... I don't watch rugby, but I watched that, and I was like, oh, that had to be a positive play.
Yeah.
And then it shows that the firemen won.
Yeah.
And I was like, huh.
I think they were trying to cut that scene as short as possible with also showing that
'Cause
Matt
it-
Damon is, like, I guess, good at rugby or something.
Had it been a fucking 45-second rugby game, I would have been like, what the fuck are they? They're just wasting time on this.
Yeah.
No one watched this thinking it was a rugby movie. Let's go.
Yeah.
And Matt, he's like, you fucking firemen, go save a cat from a tree, you fucking homos.
Yeah.
And they're walking off, and he goes, fucking firemen getting pussy for the first time in the history of fire or pussy. He's not handling this loss well at all.
Yeah.
He's a very sore loser. We then see Leonardo DiCaprio taking the exam, and then we cut to Matt Damon's bench drinking with this other cop guy. He's in this movie a bunch. I don't recognize him from anything else. I recognize him from this.
Somewhat recognize him from. I can't remember though.
And then come prepared, all right? Come prepared. He's in nothing other than The Departed. This is his. He did great movie. He was like, I'm done. Where to go from here? I'm gonna quit this whole acting thing. I'm gonna go be a real cop.
I hit the peak.
It seemed fun. Anthony Anderson and Leo are jogging.
Hold on, but he says another line when he's talking to the.
He's trying to talk to him, and he calls the firemen homos.
So I'll bring up a little fun conspiracy, it's no one really knows, but they think that there's specific irony implied with this. Now, this is nothing against people who are gay or anything like that, but they think that Sullivan might be a homosexual.
They think that Matt Damon would be.
Yeah. Like in the movie, his character.
I get they weren't saying they think Matt Damon the person.
Tom Cruise come out of the closet.
Yeah.
But like the character is like in the closet is what. So like the fact that there was like this 2 times like kind of like over the top picking up
just towards firefighters.
No, yeah, but it like it keeps there's like a bunch of little things that kind of point to it.
Yeah, I mean
It's a conspiracy. They think that they were trying to imply certain ironic things with his character being in the closet and, other things which we'll bring about.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. I'd
I'll
like it if that was part of it.
So I'll bring up other parts that go with this conspiracy.
Anthony Anderson and fucking Leonardo DiCaprio, like they're in the academy together. They're jogging, and Anthony Anderson's talking about how. So she told me, like, we come in mid-conversation. Like, she told me if I graduate, she'll finally give me a blowjob. And Leo says, yeah, your mom sounds like a lovely lady. And he's like, man, fuck you. And he's like, hey, you're a black guy in Boston, all right? You don't need any help from me to be absolutely fucked. Just saying that Boston, the whole city, they don't care too much for black people, apparently.
Apparently, yeah.
Damon graduates from the academy, and the guy who he was bench drinking with makes a point of saying, man, you graduate and you go straight to street clothes, huh? Meaning detective. He's not a uniformed officer. And he's like, yeah, I'll catch you later. Frank Costello, who's like a known crime figure in the city, is just in his car at the graduation ceremony, and Matt Damon goes over and gets in the back seat. That's
a pretty good spoof.
That's one like weird issue I have with this.
Yeah.
It's like that couldn't just happen. People would see that and be like,
That's kind of weird.
Wait, did he just get Frank Costello's car? What's that all about?
No, but David, you forgot. Costello's, he's wearing shades.
He had the sunglasses on. That's right.
And a fishing hat.
That's right. That's right. And he gives him a fucking...
They didn't show it.
Can't see it. It looks like a watch.
It seemed like it was a
like,
watch.
Congratulations. Like, no more pencils, no more bullshit. This is where the real work starts. He's like, all right. Yes, sir. And then we see it's Leo, like, training at the academy, and Matt Damon, like, kicking down doors and shit. It's just kind of quick little montage. And then it shows Matt Damon walking into the police station. We then cut to it's Captain Queenan and Sergeant Dignam, played by Martin Sheen, and Academy Award-nominated Marky Mark.
Marky Mark.
Martin Sheen congratulates Matt Damon on graduating the academy, and Marky Mark goes, whoop-de-fucking-do.
Oh, my God. I fucking love this
just
character.
like, that is how immediately they're like, oh, he's just going to be like this.
Yeah.
Enjoy it.
It's so great.
Queenan goes, yeah, you rise fast, I could see. Marky Mark says, yeah, like a 12-year-old's dick. just boom, boom, boom.
He's so quick, too. Like,
yeah, Matt Damon thanks both of them, and Captain Queen and Martin Sheen goes, yeah, you're a worker, kid, all right? I expect you to do big things here. He's like, thank you, sir. And then he leaves the office. Martin Sheen's secretary is super into Matt Damon. She goes, hey, congratulations. He goes, thanks, hon. Then she walks, and then she looks at Leo and goes, you can go in now.
Which, this is the beginning of the change for our two main characters' lives, which is like one of the first ironic moments that, as Matt Damon's walking out, Leo's time to go in, yeah. And they both, like, get what they want out of it, but it's the beginning of their, like, alter egos, essentially.
Yeah. This is where both of them change, and like it's like, okay, they're going to lead very different lives.
Literally the beginning
forward.
Of their new alter ego.
Started off, they're both in the academy, and you can see like Matt Damon's doing better, and people like him more.
Yeah.
But it was like at this point, it's very clear these are polar opposites from each other.
Yep, exactly.
So he sits down, and Martin Sheen goes, "You know what we do here in our division?" And Leo goes, "Yes, sir. I have an idea." And fucking Mark Wahlberg cuts him off. He goes, no, smartass. You have no idea what we do. Let's start there. You have fucking no idea. If you had any idea what we do, we would not be very good at what we do. We would be cunts. Are you calling us cunts?
And like, it's so funny because Martin Scorsese is like so cool about it. He's just like sitting there, just like very politely. Just
Martin
Sheen. I mean, just like sitting there, just smiling at him, just like this is the norm. Like, I'm the good cop, bad cop kind of thing.
Yeah.
They're like a perfect duo because they play the contrast.
And the age difference is so... Like, it's so... Because Mark Wahlberg's like... When this movie came out, he's like 30.
Yeah.
Martin Sheen's in his 60s. Yeah. And like, just so young, hothead, calm, cool, collected.
Dude, I love it. I love their
And like,
contrast.
Martin Sheen isn't particularly nice or like...
But he
welcoming
just has,
or like, but because he has Mark Wahlberg's crazy ass next to him, Leo fucking loves Martin Sheen.
All he has to do is just basically do nothing and have the slightest smile. Like, it's not even a smile. Yeah. It's just like a grin.
And it's like, oh, he's the nice old man.
He's the nice
like,
guy.
So great.
Yeah. Which is... Because if Marky Mark wasn't there, you'd be like, oh, fuck Martin Sheen.
Yeah.
You know?
You'd be like, oh, he's kind of fucking just a shitty boss.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Just shows.
So Marky Mark goes, yeah, you connected through your father, huh? Why don't you tell us about your Uncle Jackie? And Leo says, whatever his Uncle Jackie did for work. He's like, yeah, and he also ran books for Costello and was shot and killed in 95 or whatever year it was. And he goes, yeah, I remember the funeral. He goes, oh, nice. Closed casket? He goes, that's right.
But, like, you could tell Leo is he gets what the fuck is.
He understands what Wahlberg's doing, and
Yeah.
he's trying to be professional and cool with all of this.
Yeah.
He's like, why don't you tell us about the time you were at the North Shore, you went to this nice private school from your mom up the North Shore, and then you got kicked out for hitting the teacher with a folding chair. So let me ask you a question. Just how fucked up are you? And we then cut. It's Matt Damon. He's out in the hallway. He says, "Hi, Darlene," and then checks out Darlene's ass because he's a sick fucker. And his buddy who's been with him, he's like, "Look at you. You're already a fucking staff sergeant, blah, blah, blah." And he's like, "Maybe I can help you." Like, they talk. He's like, "I know you're a worker. Like, what, you got a suit at home? Why don't you like coming to work dressed like you're ready to invade Poland?" Which is it's basically like, "This is my buddy. We went through the academy together. I know you're a hard worker. I'm moving up here. I can help you move up as well.
Yeah.
Start here."
Yeah.
We're now back, and they're talking about how Leo's cousin sold guns to federal officers. Your whole family's just a bunch of shitheads. And he goes, "So let me ask you something. Why are you pretending to be a cop?" And he's not handling all this well.
And Martin Sheen's like, well, what he's trying to say is, some people, they want to...
No, we're not there yet. We're not there yet. Yeah, we're not there yet.
Okay.
We now cut to Alec Baldwin. This is the one scene where I didn't like how Smoking Aces was.
It gets a little Smoking Aces.
Alec Baldwin's in this movie. Took a break from murdering people who work on the film set to meet with his team. And he's just talking about, like, he's like, here's the team. We got Fitzy, we got Mr. French, we got Della Hunt, and, of course, Frank Costello. Jackie Costigan was killed. It's all fucking criminals. This is who we're coming after. It's showing he's a high-ranking cop. He wants to do this. We're now back in the office. And Marky Mark's like, "Man, your whole family's criminals except for your old man." And Leo says, "And one priest, since you're keeping tabs on anything." He's like, "Yeah, last I heard, he's happily married to a 12-year-old boy on some beach somewhere in Thailand." And just boom.
Dude.
He's like, and then there's you. You were going to the North Shore with your mommy, and then on the weekends you were down here dropping hours in the Southie projects with your dad. He's like, you had like different, you had upper middle one day, down here with your daddy the other day. I bet you had different accents. You did, didn't you, you sick fuck? You were like different people. He's put to be so basically, mom was rich and he lived over in the North Shore. Dad lived in the Southie projects. And like he would be like a fucking upper middle kid living with mom, and then he'd come down here and he'd be like, "Oh, let's get in the car." Like he'd talk all fucking Boston-y because it's fucking wicked smart kid, like doing shit like that.
Yeah,
it's great. And Mark Wahlberg in one sit down with him is just fucking reading them like a book. It's so great.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if you said it, but didn't they kind of go over that he has like ties to kind of like his father? Yeah,
his dad, his Uncle Jackie.
Yeah,
who's dead, worked with Costello. And then he says, "So let me ask you again, what's a lace curtain Irish motherfucker like you wanting to do in the States?" And he says, "Families are always rising and falling in America, huh, Cap?" And then Martin Sheen says, "Who said that?" He goes, "Hawthorne." And then Marky Mark goes, "What's the matter, smartass? You never heard any Shakespeare?" So then Martin Sheen says, "I need to ask you something. Do you want to be a cop, or do you want to appear like a cop?" It's an honest question. Some people just want to appear like a cop, gun, badge, pretend like they're on TV. Marky Mark says, "Yeah, some people just want to slam an N-word's head through a plate glass window." This is where Leo drew the line. He said, "Look, I could deal without your personal job application. Thank you very much." Like, "No, asshole." And then he looks at Captain Queen. He's like, "Sir, if we could just say, he can't save you right now. I'm the only fucking friend you got in this world right now because I know what you are and I know what you're not. And you're no fucking cop." He goes, "Is that right?" And then Martin Sheen goes, "He's right." He said, "We deal with deception here, son. What we don't deal with is self-deception. 5 years from now, you can be anything you want in the world, but you will not be a Massachusetts state trooper." He goes, "Is that so, sir?" He goes, "Guaranteed." And then Marky Mark says, "You got a 1400 on your SATs. You're an astronaut, kid, not a statey."
Yeah, so Leo's very smart and wise.
Yeah, he's a smart kid. He's not wise.
No, yeah, you're right.
He's not wise.
He's not wise. If he was wise, he would take a fucking first class ticket to like.
Yeah, he got a 1400 on his SATs.
Yeah.
Do something with that. 14. This was back when 1600 was a perfect score. We live in a world now where 2400 is a perfect score, and people are like, "Okay, so he's retarded, and that's why they don't want to let him be a cop." Like that's what people listening might think. 1600 used to be the perfect score. And he's like, deal with your family, something like that. And he's like, I don't have any family. And then we see him with a sick mom. And then he's out in the hallway with some like, oh, I wear a suit and I work in the business and all this stuff. His uncle.
Mom's brother.
And he's like, what's this? I hear Stephanie telling me that you're trying to be a cop. And he goes, Stephanie, you mean the only person who came to my father's funeral? That's Stephanie? He's like, yeah, that's Stephanie. He's like, nothing. And he's like, is there something you're trying to prove to the family? And he's like, what family is that exactly? He's like, man, there's always been this thing. Like, you always have to question everything that people do here. He's like, maybe it would have done you some good to have some questions, For starters, am I an asshole? Are my kids a mess? Is my wife a money-grubbing whore? Those are questions. Have I ever been good to my dying sister? Or am I just now pretending to care? And he looks at Leo and says, do you need some money for the funeral? And he goes, when my mom dies, you and I don't have any more connections.
And they don't.
Yeah.
It's the last time we see that dude.
Yeah. We see Matt Damon. He's seeing his condo. It's got a great view of the State Building in downtown Boston. It's a huge condo. The guy's like, great views, locks on the fridges, in case you got any problem. Haha, it's a joke. Matt Damon's not buying any of his jokes. And he's like, are you married? Because it's kind of big. He's like, I have a co-signer. It's like, oh, great, yeah, and he tend to have a house guest. Yeah, he's like, just give me the fucking papers.
So that was supposed to be another little possible hint was the way that Matt Damon reacted to the real estate agent being like, oh, so you have a guest that comes by, kind of like almost like as if he was insinuating like, oh, I understand that you have, I'm thinking or assuming that you have maybe what you're saying is a guy like and you don't want to admit that he's living here with you or something. Like that's like what I was reading is what the conspiracy was kind of getting to.
All right.
That Matt Damon was trying to be like standoffish, got mad, more so about like him over the top asking something that made him feel like vulnerable.
Like, just give me the fucking papers, all right?
Yeah.
This isn't your job. Your job isn't to talk to me about the dudes I fuck in my condo, all right? Just leave me alone.
But it's right across. What's the building? It's like a church, outside of Matt Damon's.
Yeah, Google it.
All right, so we Googled it, and it is the Massachusetts State House.
Yeah, I think I called it the Massachusetts State Building at the beginning of the thing, which is different. House, building, they're very different.
So different. But
house can be a home. Building cannot.
Good call. But it is supposed to be like some symbolism as to like him wanting to live a more just real life and not being, I guess, as caught up in all the shit that he's caught up in. But yeah, so that's why he like got that, and that's why he was looking out, and he was so kind of taken back and taken away from the view.
Yeah, it's a great view.
Yeah.
So we're now at Leo's mom's funeral, and he's crying and shit, and there's a prayer card and some flowers from Frank Costello.
How sweet.
We just hear him say, so what do I do? And we don't hear, so we're now back in the office with Leo, Martin Sheen, and Marky Mark. We do not hear Martin Sheen say what to do. The question was, what do I do? And he says, there's a bonus involved. He's like, you won't get paid much. There's a big bonus, tax-free. And he writes it on a piece of paper and hands it to him. And he says, you're going to have to do some jail time. We're going to delete you from the system. No one can know you went through the academy. You'll do some jail time. We figured a guilty plea with assault and battery. And Marky Mark goes, giving you history. And he's like, all right. And then Marky Mark says, you've already pretended to be a Costigan from South Boston. He goes, every weekend, Saj. And then Martin Sheen goes, do it again. For me.
It was very, like, almost unneeded.
Martin Sheen was not, like, Leo had no reason to like him or look up to him or anything up to this point. This is like one of my bones with this movie.
Yeah, there was nothing really sincere to that point.
Martin Sheen told him, you're trying to be something that you're not. You're not going to be a cop.
You'll never be it.
You'll never be a cop. You can be anything else in the world, but it will not be a Massachusetts State Trooper.
They literally said astronaut.
It will not be the one job that I have control over whether or not you do it.
Yeah. It seems wild.
Yeah, and like I'd be like, oh, I don't want to do it for you.
Yeah, and then asking him to do one job that they can't fucking do.
Yeah.
You know?
Say. And look, I get why he's doing it. I get that he wants to do it, all that shit. I don't get why they made it seem like Martin Sheen's this father figure to him at this point.
Yeah.
We then start hearing doop 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 doop, and The Departed comes on the screen, and we see Leo in a jail cell. We see Matt Damon like having coffee on his
montage.
Matt Damon having coffee on his balcony, looking at the Massachusetts State House. And then we see Leo getting out of jail, and he's walking like single file to go get his clothes, no shirt. And the guy's like, "Hey, you got a cousin and wherever?" And he's like, "Yeah, who's asking?" He's like, I know him. He's not too bright, but he's connected. No offense." And he's like, "Yeah, none taken. He then gets out and he goes to see his Aunt Kathy. Aunt Kathy's got tubes up her nose, and she's like, "Billy, oh my God, get in here, Billy. I'll cook you up some scrambled eggs, and we'll be great." And he comes and he sits down, he's eating, and then Grounded for Life walks in, and he's like, "Hey, what are you doing here?" And he's like, I brought your mom some pictures of my dad. My mother had them. My mother's dead." He's like, I'm sorry to hear that. I was at a funeral myself. And he's wearing a suit. And he puts a funeral card down. He goes, "Miles Kennefick. I went to school with him. Young guy, it sucks." And they're out on the porch, Leo and Grounded for Life. And he's like, "So I got like 30. He puts his hat on backwards. He goes, "I got 30 grand, from the insurance money. Your line of work, if I was to give you, let's say 10, what kind of money could you make off that?" And he goes, "You know what I ask in these situations? Come on." He's like, "Are you fucking kidding me? I'm not a fucking cop. I'm your cousin."
I'm getting strong Johnny True Love vibes right now.
From who?
Leo.
Just a backwards hat.
But he's like
nothing else about Leo is Johnny True Love.
But he's getting like kind of like, getting low on him, kind of like talking to, direct, and like
Johnny True Love does not talk direct. He's
"Hey,
you're a stand-up guy,
But like when he's talking business, you know what I'm saying? Like when he's sitting there and he leans forward, like the body language.
It's just way too much of a stretch.
No,
way too much of a
stretch. They
stretch.
even look alike in this fucking scene.
No, they don't. There's just a backwards hat. There is just a backwards hat. That is the only connection you're making.
I'm gonna find a photo where they're both doing like the hey,
let's
you're not
negotiate.
Gonna find it.
You're not gonna find that photo.
Maybe we'll.
You're gonna say I'm gonna find a photo, and you'll never find those photos. You won't look for them. They're not out there. You're not gonna go find them.
We'll see.
Right. And he's like, "Man, you are crazy." And now they're out selling drugs and Grounded for Life's like, "Man, these Puerto Ricans think they know everything. But if they knew everything, they wouldn't be fucking Puerto Ricans."
There's like a bit of racism in the opening fucking part of this movie.
A little bit, yeah. And then he's like, they're going by cops, and Leo, they're both getting kind of flustered. And then he's like, when Grounded for Life goes, we're not even supposed to be doing this, this close to Worcester, this side of Worcester. And he's like, "Says who?" He's like, "Says Costello, God, as far as you're concerned." We're then at a bar, and we see Mr. French and a guy talking to Grounded for Life, and Grounded for Life's like, "He's not a cop, he's my cousin, he's a good guy, blah, blah, blah." And French goes, "I knew his father. I liked his Uncle Jackie better." And the guy goes, "Yeah, Jackie was great." He's like, "Uncle Jackie was excellent." And then, "Hey, to Jackie." Like, "Yeah, to Jackie." Leo orders a cranberry juice at the bar, and the guy next to him says, "It's a natural diuretic. My girlfriend drinks it when she's got a period." "What, do you got your period?" And then Leo smashes a beer mug on his head, and immediately, French is there to break it up.
Yeah.
He was across he saw it coming, he saw it building, he was ready. He smashed it. Before Leo can throw another punch, he's over there just scooping him up. He's got him up against the wall. He's like, "Get your fucking hands off me." And he goes, "Hey, do you know me?" And he goes, "No." He goes, "Well, I'm the guy who tells you there are guys you can hit and there are guys you can't. Now, that's not quite a guy you can't hit, but he's almost a guy you can't hit. So I'm going to make a fucking ruling on this. You don't fucking hit him. You understand?" And Leo goes, "Yeah, sure, excellent." And he goes, "I know you. I know your family. And if you do one more coke deal with that jerk-off fucking cop magnet cousin of yours, I'll forget that your grandmother was so nice to me. I'll cut your fucking nuts off. You understand? And he nods, and he goes, what are you drinking? And Leo just kind of sits there and goes, cranberry juice. And then French says, what is it, your period? And then yells to the bartender, get him a cranberry juice.
Yeah, and Leo just looks at him like, are you fucking kidding me, bro? Like, did you not just see me beat the shit out of this guy over that exact...
But he respects French.
But it was
he knows French knows that's what it was.
Exactly. Yeah,
He's like, I can't do anything to him.
Yeah.
French then starts walking over to that guy, and he goes, hey, jerk off, that's Jackie's nephew. And the guy goes, ugh. And he goes, oh, what? Oh, fucking what? And then goes, boom, 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 boom. Just 4 hooks right to the fucking face. Like,
and this guy goes down bad.
Just drops him.
Dude.
And Leo sees it, and he's like, he's like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, so, don't fuck with Frenchie.
Mr. French.
I want to call him Frenchie.
Yeah, but don't.
All right.
Show some fucking respect, all right?
Okay.
French or Mr. French, not Frenchie.
Between this guy and Mark Wahlberg,
Leo's getting it from all angles.
But I'm saying, like, between these two characters, I think they're in competition for who's got the best lines throughout the film. What do you think?
Yeah, they're both pretty great.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it's like either that, I mean, maybe Jack Nicholson, but I don't know, man. I think, no,
definitely not Jack Nicholson.
Yeah. Marky Mark.
I think Marky Mark runs away with it. I think you could talk about French, though.
Yeah.
You can't.
There's a couple good ones.
Yeah. There's a meeting. Alec Baldwin's leading it. Marky Mark's late. And he comes in. He's like, sorry, I'm late, girls. Now my people are out there. They're like fucking American Indians. You're not going to see them. You're not going to hear about them. But they're out there. They're doing their fucking job. And it's like Matt Damon's in there. It's Alec Baldwin's team.
Yeah.
And he says like something.
Matt Damon almost fucks up.
So in a minute, but Wahlberg, it's a great part here.
Yeah.
Wahlberg, I forget what Wahlberg says to. Oh, he's like, of course this unit's got more leaks than the fucking Iraqi Navy. And Alec Baldwin says, go fuck yourself. And he says, I can't. I'm tired from fucking your wife. Alec Baldwin says, how's your mother? He goes, good. She's tired from fucking my father. It's just so great.
It is the best interaction I fucking have ever seen.
Yeah, good. How's your mother? Good. She's tired from fucking my father.
And he's like,
so great.
Yeah. And Alec Baldwin's just like, God damn, all right.
You can't say anything to that. You're just like, all right.
He's all right.
You're winning this exchange for sure.
It's chess. It's not checkers.
I'm playing him. They then talk about these things called microprocessors. And he's like, these little chips can take a cruise missile up the ass of a camel from a couple 100 miles away. He's like, that's what you want to listen to. You hear anyone talking about microprocessors, you kick it up to us. This guy right here, Miles Kennefic, he walks out of UMass with a box of processors on Tuesday, has a ticket booked for Florida on Wednesday, but on Thursday, he's found here and they have a picture of him dead at a fucking dumpster. And the guy says that UMass, that's South Boston. He's like, oh, good. Who forged your transcript? And then, so they didn't say his name. And Matt Damon says, what was his name? The Departed. And he says, Miles Kennefic. And he goes, this guy's old man owns the Lavernian Liquor Mart, Kennefic's. And they look at him and they go, we're not here to solve the case of the missing scumbag. We're here to nail Costello. Matt Damon's like, I'm a fucking police officer. Guy was murdered. Let's go talk to Dad. You know, we'll figure some shit out. And he's like, we don't care about him.
Yeah,
he's fucking dead. Fuck him.
Yeah, Matt Damon has like a kind of like what the fuck look on his face. Like I'm kind of like lost, but at the same time like I kind of fucked up. Let me hide it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. He's like, shit. All right.
Yeah.
So another guy on the team says, look, we're not asking for much. Oh, guy who's there, Alec Baldwin introduced him. He's with the FBI. And they're working hand in hand. And the guy from the FBI goes, look, we're not asking for anything specific. Just, do you have someone in with Costello or not? And Mark Wahlberg says, what I said last week. Maybe. Maybe not. maybe fuck yourself. My theory with feds are they're like mushrooms. Feed them shit and keep them in the dark. We're done here. And
Fucking
he
love
walks
that
out.
line. Fucking love that line.
Matt Damon and his boy are meeting with Mrs. Kennefics. And he's like, Mrs. Kennefics, I went to school with Miles. He was a couple years younger than me, but I want to find the people who did this to him. I want to find the people who forced your son to do a robbery and then killed him. And she says, allegedly. And he goes, allegedly. He goes, well, if he was killed, he must have done something wrong. He goes, but not the robbery. That's not wrong. And then we see Frank Costello and Frenchie. They pull up.
Yeah, David.
They pull up. You're going to be called fucking Frenchie. I want to show the man some goddamn respect. And I'm calling him Frenchie now.
I mean, it sounds good, right?
Mr. French. Frank Costello. They pull up and he says, wave to your girlfriend. And then the guy, it's his wife. She like leans over him and waves to the lady in the car. And then sits back down. She says, I mean, fuck yourself, Mrs. Kennefic. She slams the door. They're walking down, and Matt Damon notices that there's a police car and a surveillance van following Costello. So he kind of makes a mental note of it. He's now in an elevator, and she's the lady from The Departed, as far as I'm concerned. Her name's Madeline in this movie.
Yeah.
I don't care what the actress's name is. Don't even fucking pull it up.
She's from The Conjuring, though.
Yeah, but fuck The Conjuring.
Oh, okay.
All right, she's the lady from The Departed. Okay?
Okay.
The lady from The Departed she's in there. She's the therapist, and he's like, "You making a house call?" And she's like, "Have I seen you professionally?" He's like, "Nah, but I know about you. You know, guys use their service revolver, and they get to go cry on a couch with you." And they just kind of, they flirt back and forth. He's like, "I'm the next floor up." She's like, "Oh, big time, Stady." He's like, "Oh yeah." So I'm going to law school too. She goes, "Suffolk Knights," and he goes, "Well, they don't run Harvard at nights. Last time I checked." And just they talk shit back and forth. She's like, well, maybe you shoot somebody and you can come sit with me. He's like, I will stab someone in the fucking heart with an ice pick if it gets me dinner with you. And
she loves it, too.
Yeah,
that just turns her on.
They're having a fun flirting thing. She gives him her card, and they go their separate ways. He then gets a call, and he answers and says, hi, Dad. He's like, yeah, no, I had no idea about the tale. It's, no, I couldn't call you. I was with the other guy. He's like, it's the one car, and then it's the van with some spray paint on the side, and that's video surveillance. He's like, okay. And then he tells French, he goes, cut him here. And French runs a red light, and
the other cars cut him off.
yeah, like they can't just crash through traffic because they're following Frank Costello.
Yeah.
We're now at another cool bodega thing where the guy's cooking food up at the counter and they're eating. I feel like there's just have to be everywhere in Boston.
Yeah.
I
Give
was
that
only in
Boston
Boston for a few hours. I should have paid more attention to see if those are everywhere.
Fun fact, the majority of the exterior scenes are shot in Boston, but the majority of the interior scenes are shot in New York. So this might have maybe been New York, not sure.
But they're definitely
But they
painting
start
the
on
picture.
like the outside and go in.
But they're also like that has to be a thing in Boston.
Yeah.
If they're showing this so much, there's no way like people in Boston would be like, those don't exist here. Those were New York stores.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah, like those have to be a thing in Boston.
Yeah.
There's two guys. He's like, Babu. The guy is Middle Eastern who's running. He's like, Babu, it is Friday. I told you I need the money, my friend. He's like, what do you keep calling me my friend? My name is Singh, motherfucker. I'm not your friend. You don't even know my fucking name. This guy's holding his own there.
Yeah,
And he's like, you see this guy? This guy don't want you to have the money because he wants to come back there and squash your head, and I don't want to see that happen. Like, he's just sucking. He's like, what do you want me to do? I got one customer here.
Pretty big guy.
Yeah, he's like, business is bad? You open a store in an Irish neighborhood. These are dirty, dirty people. Sell potatoes. I don't know what you're going to do. And then Leo comes up and pays, and he goes, you fellas come from Providence? And the big guy says, isn't any of your business where we come from now, is it? He goes, what, are you selling fucking cannolis or something? And he, like, checks the dude in the throat and pushes him down and then fucks up the one guy and then goes after the big guy and crashes him into a big ice chest, hits him a bunch of times, breaks his hand on one of them, then picks up a coat rack and is just hitting the fucking
stabbing
dude.
the fucking dude.
It's fucking bloody. Babu he's like, get out! You're fucking destroying my store! Get out!
And
Get out of here!
And like he knows if this guy doesn't kill these two fucking mobsters, that he's gonna have to end up still paying the price. right?
Well, his store's getting, he can't afford, he's got one customer.
Yeah, true.
He can't afford to pay those guys and fix everything that Leo's breaking in the store. The guy's gonna have to shut down.
Yeah.
So we then, Matt Damon is at dinner with the therapist.
Yeah.
And she's talking about how she sees violent offenders too, and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, oh, bad guys. She's like, not all of them. Then they put a crazy-looking cake dessert thing down. Matt Damon says, I mean, they got this, but they don't got duck à l'orange. And she goes, was there something wrong with your food? He's like, no. The lobster was great, but just it's a fucking French restaurant. I figured they would have had it. And she's like, I'm waiting for you to move. He's like, if this thing moves, I'm going to shoot it. I don't know. I'm a cop. I got a gun. Just shoot it. I got a hair trigger. I don't know what to do.
She loves it.
Yeah.
She's
and
eating it up.
He says, does it ever get messy with all those feelings? And she says, why, does that bother you? He goes, no. She goes, well, you know what Freud said about the Irish, right? He goes, I do. She says, yeah, well, maybe if you do, you can see me again. Who said I want to see you again? And she's like, well, don't you? And he's like, yeah. He starts laughing. He's like, of course I want to fucking see you again. He goes, what Freud said about the Irish is that we're the only people who are impervious to psychoanalysis. And she's like, that's right. He's like, yeah, of course it's right. I wouldn't fucking said it if I think it was right.
So that was also supposed to be like almost kind of like another hint, and they were kind of like iffy on that, but just the way that he played off, like I might not be attracted to you.
I don't like that one.
Yeah,
that was flirty.
Yeah,
that was flirty. I don't. That's a stretch. Whoever put that on the internet.
Yeah.
Up until I'm like, yeah, maybe that's a stretch. And he's like, so why do you do it? She's like, because some people do get better. But at the end of the day, I wish they would just do their job. And he's like, even the bad guys? She's like, yeah, of course them. If they don't do their job, you don't have one. And he goes, oh, I'll always have a job. I'll just arrest innocent people. And she's like, she laughs. She's like, you're in trouble. He's like, you don't have. I'll arrest you right now. It'll be your word against mine. Just he's just really.
Yeah, it's cute.
I'm a cop. That's the niche I found. And I'm gonna run it into the fucking ground. Back at Costello's bar. And there's two, like, old women at the one end, and they're, like, having gossipy girl talk. And then they just stop, and they're looking. And Leo's just staring at them. Like,
yeah.
He's not facing them either. He's completely turned, just staring at them. And they stop and, like, look at him. And then they start talking again. Costello comes and sits down next to him, and he says, do you know who I am? And Leo's like, nah. He's like, I believe you met my associate, Mr. French, over there. And he looks over at him. And he goes, is that his real name, Mr. French? And he goes, no, it's not. Why don't you come with me? And he doesn't move. And then Frank Costello says, I'm not the cops. I'm not asking you. So he goes. Didn't sound like that was an option. And as they're walking, he goes, they just don't stop having the mafia problems. And this one might affect me. And then he comes in there, and it's weird. And he says, those two guys you roughed up, they're connected in Providence. But what they're going to do is they're going to get a couple of more guys. And they're going to come back down here and kill you. Which, sure as you're born, they will do. Unless I stop them.
Do you
Would you like me to stop them? You be Leo.
Oh, okay.
Do you want me to stop them?
I don't know.
No.
What does he say?
He says, is this something I can't handle personally?
Oh, yeah.
He's so nah, I mean, if I can.
And they look at each other like.
He's like, I mean, I feel comfortable handling it. I think I'm fine. He's so nonchalant.
They look at each other, the fucking Mr. French and Costello, and they're like, what the fuck is wrong with this kid?
He goes, I'm going to have my associate check you right now. And he goes, well, nobody's checking me. Check me for what? He says, Contra fucking band. And French starts, like, patting him down. He has him sit down. He goes through the shoes. And Costello goes, I knew your father. He goes, do you know he's dead? He goes, I'm sorry. How'd he go? He goes, he didn't talk. He's like, yeah, that was his problem. And he goes, who said he has a problem? And then Frank Costello goes, I just said he had a fucking problem. It's a guy who could have been anything. He goes, you saying he's nothing? He goes, I'm saying he worked at the fucking airport. And then French goes, all right, he's clean. He goes, arm. He's like, yep. And then he looks at the cast. Oh, his hand's in a cast because he broke his hand on that
Yeah, he
guy.
broke his hand being a
French
fucking
then
guy.
smashes his fucking cast arm on, and he's screaming, and he breaks it open, and then French holds his hand down, and Frank comes up and starts hitting him with, Leo has these big boots, and he starts hitting Leo's hand with the boot, and he goes, are you a cop? He's like, no, I'm not a cop. He goes, swear on your mother's grave that you're not a cop. And he goes, I am not a fucking cop. He goes, you gonna stop doing coke deals with your jerk-off cousin? He's like, yes! Yes! He goes, all right. Sorry about that, but it was necessary. Then he takes out some money. He goes, get your hand fixed. And he kind of looks at it and just drops it down. And just wad 100, bunch of money. He's like, here you go. He's like, and he goes, and as for our problem in Providence, well, let's not cry over spilled guineas. Meaning, we'll take care of it. Fucking guineas. Guineas don't matter. This is the Irish country, all right? I've been saying this for years, guys. Let's not cry over spilled guineas. Irish are who run this country. I'll be honest. It's like Jews, and it's Irish are a close second, all right? That's what this country's built on. Jews and the Irish. We stay out of each other's way. All right? We stay out of each other's way. And we don't date, you Jews, I don't want you dating beautiful Irish women, and vice versa. I won't date your Jew girls. You stay away from the Irish women, I'll stay away from the Jew girls. And we'll all get along. It won't be an issue. So he comes out and he says, who let this IRA motherfucker in here? And then he laughs and he's like, how's your mom? It's a fucking guy. IRA is Irish Republican Army. And he laughs and he shakes him. He goes, how's your mom? He's like, she's on her way out. He goes, we all are. Act accordingly.
Fucking love that line.
And then he walks away and his wife's there and she's like, you summoned me? He's like, yeah, get in the car. I want to show you something. She's like, what's got you all hot and bothered? He's like, get in the car and I'll show you. So they go.
Fucking yeah.
Him and French are now sitting at his place having a cocktail together. And he's like, so do you trust him? He's like, well, the question these days is who's reliable? And he's like, his Uncle Jackie was. It's like, oh, yes, he was. And then French goes, I'm reliable. He goes, oh, Arnold, you're 1 in a million. And he goes, 10. 10 million. Like, how about your wife, Arnold? Was she reliable? And he says, I thought she was. And then Frank, spits up his drink. And he goes, she wasn't.
Yeah, he fucking is having a ball with it.
He goes, she got reliable, though. And then it shows him.
Quick cut.
Yeah, quick cut. She's naked, they just got done having sex, and then with a fucking string, he just fucking chokes her from behind and apparently kills her. Says she got reliable. Which I guess that's reliable. Dead is reliable. You know what you're getting.
And the actor,
Right?
Yeah.
Right? What is more reliable than dead?
I mean, dude, there's not much.
There's nothing.
Yeah.
Everything, there's variance to everything else. Dead is dead.
Yeah.
Until zombies become a real issue, dead is just dead.
And you could tell he was a little hurt by it. The actor did a good job of being able to be ruthless, but at the same time showed that he actually did a little bit care about her.
It was his wife, yeah.
No, yeah.
I'm sure he loved her at one point.
Yeah. And then the fact
she just
that
wasn't
she
reliable.
Yeah. Man, trust issues. Gotta have them. I mean, think about it. Would Mr. French be where he is if he didn't have his trust issues? Come on. If he didn't kill the bitch.
I mean, yeah, dude, but that's why, how in the world of the 5-6 Kings, you're I'm the Frank Costello.
Yeah.
And you're the Mr. French.
There you go.
Yeah, that's it. It makes sense.
It makes sense.
But, you'll always be number 2. And I need you to know that, you know?
David.
Yeah, you can't rise to the top with those trust issues. You got to have people you trust underneath you and that fear you. And that's kind of the situation we're in. I can trust you because you have so much fear
No, it's
It's this.
No, it's even more. You have the biggest trust issues.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Come on. How else do you live the type of life do you live? You got to make everyone fear you. You got to make everyone
Yeah, it's
else,
not trust issues, though.
But everyone else has trust issues, and you're the one that has the biggest trust issues.
I
'cause
got-
you make everyone believe in you.
No.
Yep.
I got no trust issues because I'm so respected, I'm so feared, I'm so revered in Palm Beach County. People stay out of Dave Breen's way. Because people know
I don't know why I'm
Big-
laughing. I'm sorry.
Big Daddy Dave Breen runs shit in the 561. Braden's his number 2, and it's always going to be that way.
I keep laughing.
It's
I don't know
always
why.
it's always been that way. It'll always be that way. Costello's wife then says she's drunk or high or something on the couch.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Don't you people ever shut the fuck up?" And he goes, "Another county heard from." French goes, "One too many."
And I think it's in this scene that she's reading a book about how to get pregnant.
There we go.
It's
Probably.
called Getting Pregnant.
I mean, if that's not on the nose what that book's going to be about, I don't know what is.
Yeah, it's first page. It's like, all right, this is actually not about getting pregnant.
We then cut to the dead guys, the guineas, the spilled guineas that no one's going to cry over in Providence.
Oof.
And Matt Damon opens up the jacket and says Providence. And he goes, "The principles of detection tell me that these fellas came from Providence." And then he closes it and the guy comes, "Hey, will you leave my crime scene?" He goes, "Actually, it's my crime scene, but knock yourself out." And then he goes and he gets on the phone and says, "I saw a dead guy. I think I'm having post-traumatic stress. Can I meet you for lunch?" He goes, "Great, I'll see you then." So he called his therapist girlfriend.
Yeah.
He then gets a call, or he calls from a payphone, this one. He calls Frank Costello. And Frank wants to know, he goes, "Who's the lead detective?" He goes, "Great, he's a push." He's like, "Get the cops to look at Jimmy Pappas." Of course, he didn't do it, but they'll find a gun in his glove box that committed the murder. He's like, "All right, great." So he hangs up, and his boy's sitting there waiting for him. He goes, "Want to see some dead guys?" Then they go down to the dead bodies. We're now inside. Frank and Mr. French are meeting with Leo.
Fuck yeah.
And Frank says, he's eating lobster. He says, "You know who John Lennon is?" Leo says, "Yeah, he's the president before Lincoln." And Frank kind of smirks at him and he goes, "John Lennon said, 'I'm an artist. You give me a fucking tuber, I'll squeeze something out of it." And then Leo goes, "I'm going to be honest, Mr. Costello, I'd like to squeeze some fucking money out of it." And he goes, "Smart mouth. Too bad." And then he pulls out a fucking hand off of a body.
Very casually.
It's like in a plastic bag. He pulls it out. And his wife walks out. And he goes, "What now?" And she goes, "Choir practice." And then she leaves to go to choir practice.
Oh, man.
He takes the ring off the hand and calls French over. And he says, "Give this to his wife." And he goes, "I like how you asked him which hand he jerked off with before you cut it off." He's like, "I hope this doesn't spook her." And he says, "As I recall, she ain't so sentimental."
One of the best lines in the film. Like, "Oh, man, you're so sweet. I take after you, boss. You're just such a kind guy."
I like how you asked that. That was cool.
Yeah. Because, everyone likes to masturbate. Am I right?
Who doesn't?
The decency of this man to, give him the hand that he masturbates with.
Yeah.
So sweet.
And he said, what I was getting at Lennon is a man can look at anything and make something out of it. So I look at you, Bill. What can I make out of you? And we see, while he's doing this, we see Mark Wahlberg and Captain Queenan. They're like listening in. And then we see Leo. He's in the bathroom. He has the water on, and he leans out the window and takes the wire that he's wearing off and drops it out the window. It falls in the water. Marky Mark goes, "That was quick. Think he's dead already?" He then leaves and he calls and he's like, "I can't fucking do this wearing a wire. That was fucking crazy, guys. Like, I'll meet with you after. I can't wear a wire in there." And Queenan just goes, "Microprocessors. We're going to be at war with the Chinese in 20-some-odd years," which we're coming up on 20-some-odd years.
David, I was thinking that
we're getting
exact
real
same-
close to 20-some-odd years. Let's see if Queenan's right.
And, ex-military fucking people I've listened to, they say by 2030 because China wants to try and take over Taiwan.
But that's 23 years. So
yeah. But they say like latest 2030 because by 2030
let's make it
apparently
happen by 2027 is what you're saying.
Yeah, because by 2030 they need to have already taken over Taiwan to have a like ancient fucking festival that they have every 100 years. That's supposed to be a part of their religion or some shit that I don't know China believes in or something like that. I don't know what the tradition is.
And they need to take over Taiwan in order to.
It's done in Taiwan every 100 years. So the last time they did this, they had control of Taiwan. So that's like why they say, oh yeah, for sure we're gonna have to make a decision in the U.S. as to like as to whether we defend Taiwan and go and get in a war with China over that, or if we just say, hey Taiwan, you're on your own. So, fuck. He's probably right though. It's like 2027.
I love the fact that in order to have some religious festival, they're like, we're gonna go to war with a country.
That's the main reason. The second reason
awesome
is that they always found Taiwan to be in their control. Like they're like, no, this is a part of China.
I mean, can we be honest? Why not? You know?
A little bit of communism never hurt no one.
Right, and definitely not Taiwan. That's for damn sure.
They all seem like they have equal, rights and everything.
Yeah, they're fine. They're fine. Yeah, yeah, great. So China has Taiwan now. Great,
dude. If it happens in 2027, that's gonna be spot on with this movie.
I mean, Captain Queenan knows what's up,
and
it's all Frank Costello's fault,
dude. Literally,
he says he's selling them the microprocessors. He's like, you hear anything about microprocessors? You let us know.
Yeah,
he's like, great. Matt Damon is now meeting with Alec Baldwin, who has ice water that he's about to stick his face in. And that's how the scene ends, with him sticking his face in the ice water. And he says, so who did the two guys from Providence? Matt Damon says, Jimmy Pappas. And he goes, and what happened to Jimmy Pappas? He goes, no, Jimmy had a rough month. He had a heart attack in jail and then was knifed at a local prison. He goes, you seem very happy with that result. He goes, it's a fucking result. And he smiles and sticks his face in the ice water.
Yeah, that's how Alec gets that face. So
I know. He says, I think you are a cop, my son. And then he sticks his face in the water.
Boom.
French is beating the fuck out of some dude.
Yeah.
He's getting money, and this guy who's there, Leo's watching, there's another dude there. This guy reaches into his jacket pocket, and Leo hits him in the face with his gun. And the guy falls down, there's teeth
knocks
coming
out his teeth, yeah.
And he pulls, he's like, I was reaching for my fucking cigarettes. And French goes, whoa. What? Whoa. Jimmy Bags. That's the guy's name. The guy's name is Jimmy Bags, and French just goes, whoa, it's Jimmy Bags.
Just knocked Jimmy Bags' fucking teeth out.
And Leo goes, yeah, he was reaching, I don't know. And he's like, what the fuck's wrong with you? And then the guy in the chair goes, I'm in the hole, I pay him $2,000 a week. There's no profit, I'm paying $2,000 a week. No matter what, I'm paying him $2,000 a week. And French goes, make more fucking money. This is America. If you don't make money, you're a fucking douchebag. So what are you going to do? And he hits the guy again. He goes, make more money. He's like, that's the fucking spirit. And then they walk out and they get in the car with Costello. And he goes, this jerk off just knocked Jimmy Bags' teeth out. And Costello goes, so? He doesn't give a fuck. He's like,
yeah.
So?
Yeah.
And he's like, look, he was reaching, Frank, he was reaching this thing, and French is like, he was getting his fucking cigarettes out. And he goes, I don't know if he's a bookie or what. And he goes, you know what a bookie does, right? He goes, yeah, he pays you. So I think that whole scene, I think, was so people can know what the job of a bookie is.
There you go.
And then it's to pay Frank Costello.
Yeah, because you got to get started up to be a bookie with like a certain amount of cash just in case people win or something like that, and that you had to get like a little loan from.
I don't know. I only have the knowledge.
I've never done like.
Yeah, me neither. We don't need to go on a route that neither of us have any knowledge of. What are we doing here?
Because that's what you said. You said the whole scene was to explain how
they give Frank Costello money.
Yeah,
that is all.
Yeah,
that is all the knowledge I have of bookies. So you ask me more questions about bookies, I cannot answer them. I know they give Frank Costello money, and that is it.
Yeah.
I know that is the job of a bookie. We now have Queenan is meeting with fucking somebody. He's meeting with Matt Damon.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, we got fucking blah, blah, blah. We think Costello has a rat in the state police. And he's like, oh, that's no good. And no, who the fuck was this? Someone, it wasn't.
Was it Leo?
No, who's telling? Oh, this is, Alec Baldwin is telling. No, Matt Damon is telling. Look at this. Look how fucking. There's so many people. Matt Damon is telling his boy and Anthony Anderson. Anthony Anderson is now on Matt Damon's team. And he's telling them, he's like, we think Costello has a rat inside the state police. And Anthony Anderson goes, do we have access to Queenan's undercover? He goes, we're working on it.
Yeah, they're setting this scene up for the rest of the film because now Matt Damon's going to be using his
Matt Damon, he's got a team now.
Yeah.
He never had a team before.
But
I handpicked every fucking one of you guys.
Yeah, and now he's starting to use and kind of abuse his power.
Yeah.
In the position that he's in.
Which, great.
Yeah.
He should.
Yeah.
And Costello tells Leo, he goes, so when you need to reach me, you call the bar and you ask for Mikey. You ask for Mikey because there isn't a Mikey. You wait. We'll call you. Like, all right, so that's how you get in touch with Frank Costello. You call the bar and you ask for Mikey. Costello then gets a call from Matt Damon. He says, Dad, I got promoted. Then hangs up. It is not his real dad. His real dad is dead. We found that out earlier. He met him. He calls him dad, so he's not saying, hey, Frank Costello.
Hey, Costello.
I got promoted. Oh, yeah, I'll tell you what the police department's doing. Don't worry about it.
Huh? What's that? Oh, no, nothing.
Oh, yeah, no. It's a different thing that I'm on the phone with. Different Frank Costello.
Yeah.
We're now at a restaurant. Frank and Leo are getting some food, and there's some priests and a nun at the table over next to them. And Frank Costello goes, if your father saw you sitting here with me, let's just say he'd have a word with me. In fact, he'd kill 7 guys just to slit my throat, and he could do it. Maybe something you didn't know about William Costigan Sr. Your Uncle Jackie, too. He would kill my whole fucking family if he saw us sitting here. Which makes me wonder. And then, fucking Leo's like, what the fuck are we talking about here, Frank? And he goes, you ever think about going back to school? And he goes, back to school? With all due respect, Mr. Costello, school is out. And takes a drag of his cigarette, and Frank goes, yeah, maybe one day you'll wake the fuck up. He walks out. He's like, you shouldn't be fucking working with me, kid.
Yeah.
You're smart. Come from a family that I really respect. I don't like that we're doing this, but whatever. I'm going to use you.
Yeah.
And he walks up to these priests. The nun is not at the table anymore. She got up, and he walks up to them and says, Father, do you remember our discussion about little boys sucking on your peckers? And immediately, it didn't really make sense the way he said it.
Yeah.
And then he says, in these archdioceses, God don't run the bingo. Or might I remind you that in these archdioceses, God don't run the bingo. I do.
Yeah.
And then the younger priest says, well, may I remind you that pride comes before the fall. Which, how about that? And he says, how's Sister Mary Teresa doing? She and I struck up quite the relationship before she took her vows. You fathers have a good day. And then he puts a picture down that is just a drawing of a naked person.
Yeah. Weird.
Maybe it's her.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So I want to say something. This movie that they do a really good job, Martin Scorsese and William Manahan, they go over 2 aspects of morals and kind of sins, which they touch upon a lot, which is deception and pride, which you see throughout the entirety of the film. And it's...
But what don't they deal with?
Oh, God damn it, David.
They deal in deception. What they do not deal in is...
the opposite of that, which is personal deception.
Very close.
Fuck.
Another way to say personal.
I know. You
My
individual? God damn it.
Self-deception.
Fucking Christ. I don't do well with pressure, David. You can't put me on the spot like that, bro. But yeah, so keep that in mind if you're watching the film, or if there's a lot of little symbolism that kind of goes over a lot of these morals.
So we're now, Fitzy's been taken into custody by Anthony Anderson and the other guy. They got him on a suspended license. He got a whole bunch of other felonies and shit that he was wanted for. Just have him in there, and Matt Damon shows up, and they're like, he beeped his lawyer twice. He's like, and the guy didn't answer or show up? They're like, nah. Matt Damon's like, all right. Well. Takes off his badge and gun, and puts it on the table, grabs a briefcase there. He grabs the other guy's phone. Not Anthony Anderson's, the other guy's. And he's going in, and Anthony Anderson's like, oh, turn off the camera, because it's very illegal what he's about to do.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, what are you doing? He's like, he doesn't know what his fucking lawyer looks like.
Yeah.
We'll just go in there. And he goes and he sits down, and he goes, afternoon, Mr. Fitzgibbons. And made any statements or calls that I need to be aware of? He goes, I paged you. The number you gave me. He goes, and that's it? He goes, that's it. He goes, great.
He has such a strong Irish accent.
Then he pulls out the phone and he says, now I need you to call your mother. Tell her you're not going to make it for supper. And he just stares at her and he kind of looks at him. He's got Braden's trust issues.
Yeah.
And he goes, look at fuckstick.
Fuckstick. Love it.
Look at fuckstick. You don't have to trust me, all right? They're setting up for a raid. I don't know when. And you need to call your mother and tell her you won't. Just listen to what I'm saying. Call your mother and tell her you won't be home for supper. And then he picks up the phone and he goes, hi, Mom. I'm not going to make it home for supper. Yeah, no, you too. Yeah, let Dad know. Okay, bye-bye. And then he hangs up, and it was French that he called, and they're, like, cutting up fucking coke.
In some random, like, trap house.
Yeah, and he goes, all right, let's go, we gotta go. And he fucking sets the drapes on
before
fire.
Leo can even pack up the fucking kilos of cocaine, this shit is already on fire.
Yeah, the room is on fire, because he's like, we gotta fucking go.
Mr. French does not waste any time.
Zero time.
Yeah.
He's just fucking boom,
all right.
boom.
It's fucking light and everything.
They burn it down, and then he's walking out. He's like, Mr. Fitzgibbons, I think you need to get a new attorney. He's like, when am I getting out of here? And he closed the door, and he hands Anthony Anderson the phone, and he's like, trace the last number that he called. Let's get an address on that. I'll swear to a judge that I tailed him there, and bing, bang, we got a warrant.
He's like, why'd you use my phone?
Why didn't you use my phone?
Oh, what?
Because he used the other guy's phone.
Oh, okay.
And he says, because you weren't in there.
Yeah.
And he leaves.
Yeah.
So Leo just helped Costello's guys out of a jam.
Mm-hmm.
They'll find by the time they find the address for that, the house is going to be burned to the fucking ground.
Yeah.
So now we see there's just another contrast of how different Matt Damon and Leo are right now.
Mm-hmm.
Leo is watching someone be bludgeoned to death by Costello's guys, and there's blood everywhere. Matt Damon is with his therapist girlfriend, and she's talking about how nice the light is in the morning in that apartment, because it's such a nice apartment. It's like, the light here in the morning is spectacular. And then she goes, you want to talk about last night?
There we go, David.
And he doesn't answer. She's like, some guys make too big a deal out of this, but it's quite normal. And then he goes, I gotta go to work. So
this is one of the biggest hints to that, trying to say like he couldn't get it up, which therefore kind of connects to the last thing I was talking about, because it was trying to kind of say like he was joking with her, yeah, kind of like flirty, but at the same time he was kind of saying the truth that he wasn't really attracted to her, like in a subliminal kind of way, by saying like, what if I
don't like that one. I like this one more.
Yeah, for sure.
Stick to this one.
Yeah.
Stick to this one.
Well, I'm just saying it kind of sets up the last one a little bit.
Yeah, he either
couldn't get attracted to her.
Couldn't get up, or he's too attracted to her. We don't know. Maybe he came like immediately, and he was like, "Oh my god!"
I'll just lie and say I didn't come, and I just couldn't get it up.
He was like, "This is amazing." No, and that's the issue. She's like, "It was really quick." That was.
It's very common for most guys to
it's very common. Guys blow their load quickly. It's people make too big a deal out of it. Some guys come quick.
That's a good devil's advocate.
That's
right
fine.
There, David.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
And she's like, I got my. You got to have your fun, then I use my vibrator, and I have my fun.
See, now she just seems like a lot more sweet than him possibly being gay.
Yeah. I think it's he found a great woman. He thinks firemen are fucking homos, and you know what? I agree. If you're a fireman,
you gotta
and you're
slide
watching
down a
this,
pole.
you're a fucking homo, all right?
Yeah.
All the whole lot of you. But we see like he's I gotta go to work. We see Leo and the gang. They're blowing up a car with a Molotov cocktail.
Yeah. I guess Molotov cocktails work a lot better than I imagined.
Yeah.
Because that fucking car exploded.
Yeah, well, it's gas, it explodes, and then like that explosion goes into the gas tank on the car, and that explodes. I mean,
No, yeah, but it wasn't
gas-
drawn out like that.
gas blow up, baby.
Yeah,
Gas
but it wasn't-
blow up. Leo is now seeing Matt Damon's girlfriend professionally, and he says, "Do you lie?" And she goes, "Why do you?" He's like, "No, I'm asking if you lie." And she's like, she has an answer, and he goes, "Yeah, you lie. What is it? Because you think it's better than the truth? You're doing some good with it, or just for the fuck of it?" And she has an answer that I can't remember, and he goes, so you had a parent who was a drunk?" And she goes, "No. Did you?" He goes, "No."
It's funny because that happens like 3 or 4 times where they're having a conversation and Leo almost ends up becoming the psychiatrist by being able to depict her mind and like her psychology of like the way that she thinks and processes things from probably the trauma of her past. And it's great that Leo's the one like just flipping it on the head, you know?
Yeah,
like
Leo is therapizing her
yeah.
without a doubt.
Yeah. And like on point too.
Yeah. She's tell me how you feel. He's like, how I feel. And then we see him looking at like pictures of all of his dead family members, and we see him and French go into this like dining room of a house, and the guy goes, "Oh." The guy's like eating cereal at the table. He picks up a toy. He's a family man, and he throws it, and French ducks it, but it hits Leo in the face, and then the duck starts moving around on the floor. It's like a fucking duck with wheels. And he's like, "No, get away." And French is like walking across, and he's pouring out a 2-liter bottle, and the guy goes, "No." He goes, "I ain't gonna hurt you." And then he sticks the gun in the bottle and pulls the trigger.
Just
and
smart.
Goes, gets the guy.
Homemade
kills,
silencer.
yeah, kills him. The guy falls down, dead. French and Leo leave, and Leo like holy shit.
He's like traumatized. He's got
Yeah.
blood on his face, and then Mr. French walks up to him and slaps him in the face. He's like, "All right, come on.
Let's go." And Leo
Wake up.
goes, "You're sitting with a mass murderer. I mean, mass murderer. Your heart rate is jack. Your hand, steady. It's what I learned in jail. My hands don't shake." She's like, "Oh my God." She's like, "Yes, yeah. Tell me more about your hands." And he says, "Do you see cops?" And she's like, "Yeah, I see cops." Like, he's like, "I think there was a cop leaving when I got here." She's like, "How'd you know he was a cop?" He's like, bad haircut, no dress sense in the slightest, douchebag air of entitlement." And she's like, "Oh, yeah, I see cops. Like, do they cry in here?" She's like, "Yeah, they cry. You know, of course they cry. You know, if they've been."
Nah, don't worry. It's not important. Sorry.
Yeah, if there's troubles at home or they had to use their weapon on the job, he's like, if they have to use their weapon. They signed up to use their weapon, all right? There is no one more full of shit than a cop, except maybe a cop on TV. And then she's like blah, blah, they talk, and she's like, "I don't normally see, cadets who have been kicked out of the academy." And he goes, "You should get a better job then, huh?" Great.
Yeah.
We then see him taking his mom's OxyContin and chasing it with Sprite. And she says, "So tell me about being in jail." He's like, "What, do you want to hear about the showers or something?" She goes, Did something happen? He goes, "No."
So tell me, do you think something happened? Because he kind of played that off like a little...
No, I think he is mind-fucking her
Okay.
every time he's on the screen with her.
Okay.
No. We now have Leo meeting with Queenan and Dignam, and Marky Mark is Dignam, and he's like...
Underneath the bridge, right?
Yeah. He's like, "What's the matter, hotshot? You think you can just do whatever you want and there's no consequences? That guy Jimmy Baggs, whose mouth you fucked up, happens to be an undercover police officer for the Boston Police Department. It's Jimmy Baggs. He's a cop.
He's a fucking
How
cop.
about that?" And like they're talking shit back and forth, and then Marky Mark's like, "You know what? Why don't we just erase your file? Huh? How about that, Capt? And then you're just another soldier for Costello, open to arrest on I don't know how many felonies. And then Leo fucking... they're yelling back and forth, and he goes, look, just because you play a tough guy doesn't mean you are one. You lace curtain Irish fuck. And then he punches him in the face, and they go back and forth.
Yeah, Leo's punching him, and...
Yeah. Queenan breaks it up, and he's like, you just hit a cop. If anyone's watching, how could we not arrest you?
Get in the fucking car!
He's like, both you in the car. And they sitting there, and Leo goes, man, what... he killed someone. We saw him kill somebody. We'll just arrest him. What do you wait for him to chop me up and feed me to the poor? And Marky Mark says, well, that might stick.
Yeah.
It's so great.
Yeah.
Like, he just got in a fist fight, but he's still quick-witted enough to fucking come out with that.
And it's funny because he's, like, in the front seat, so he's, like, looking back at him saying it, you know?
And he's, like, wiping blood off his face. He's like, yeah, that might stick.
It's great.
They tell him, he's like, we think Costello has someone in Special Investigations Unit. He's like, oh, fuck, man. Fuck. And Captain Queenan goes, look, I need you to stick it out a little bit longer for me, all right?
Do it for me.
We are this close, all right? Do it for me. Look, you're like a son to me. I've raised you, you know? Do it for me.
We've had, like, 2 conversations.
Yeah. Do it for me. We then see Leo. He's back with the therapist, and she says, why are you here? I was like, what do you want to get out of this? And he goes, honestly? Yeah. He goes, Valium. She goes, ugh. And she closes the file. And then she's like, you know, if you lied, you'd have a better chance of getting what you wanted, which is a fucking bullshit thing to say.
Yeah.
And he goes, you kidding me? You asked me to tell the truth. I'm being honest. I thought I was supposed to be honest here, if only here. You know, I've been having panic attacks. The other day, I thought I was having a fucking heart attack. I puked in a trash barrel on my way here. I told you something true, and you what? You close my fucking file? You know, someone comes here with issues, and you send them on the street to score smack? And then she, like in your face, takes fucking 2 pills out of her drawer and puts it down. She's like, there you go. There you
He's
go.
like, 2 fucking pills?
Why don't you just give me a bottle of scotch and a handgun to blow my fucking head off? Are we done with this psychiatry bullshit? And she's like, you know, you can leave. He goes, oh, my God. And he's walking out. He's like, and, you know, what if that was a legitimate threat? Think about it, hotshot. And then she walks out. Or he walks out, and then she follows him out.
She takes a second, and then she's like,
yeah,
I want some of that Leo dick.
Yeah, she's like, I need it.
Yeah.
She follows him outside, and she goes, why is the last patient of the day always the fucking hottest one? He says, because you're tired and you don't give a shit. It's not superhuman. And she hands him a thing, and he goes, what's this? She goes, it's my card and a prescription for 20 lorazepam, which is Ativan, which is very similar to Valium. Leo asks, he says, is it enough to commit suicide? And she said it might be. You know, just for the record, you fit the model of drug-seeking behavior, and too goddamn bad if you don't like my professional opinion. And he goes, all right. And she says, I'm transferring you to another therapist. He says, good. Like, yeah. And then she starts to walk away, and he says, so you want to go get a coffee?
I'm telling you, the moment that she snapped, he was like, oh, my God, this is so fucking hot.
I mean, it was. We're now...
It was kind of hot.
There's big... They're in some fucking weird location, and Alec Baldwin's pumped. Like, he must have...
Oh, yeah.
He must have just killed a production assistant, because, like, he is just fucking amped. He's so excited. He's ready to fucking go. And he's telling everyone, he's like, Costello's meeting a buyer for microprocessors here. We're going to fucking take him. It's going to be great. It's like, these guys are going to call him. Matt Damon and his team had no idea any of this was going on. Like, he's doing the whole announcement. He's saying, these guys are doing surveillance. We got the FBI here. Blah, blah, blah. And then he walks over to Matt Damon. He's like, yeah, we're going to take him tonight. I'm going to go get smoked. Do you smoke? Yeah, you probably don't smoke. You're probably one of those fucking fitness freaks. Huh? Fuck you. He walks away.
Literally. And fuck you.
So Matt Damon makes a call to let his dad know he won't be home for supper. And Martin Sheen kind of walks up, and he's standing by him. After he says, oh, no, my friends are coming. Yeah. All right, Dad. Well, I'll talk to you later. All right? Love you, Pop. Does Martin Sheen, like, do people who work with him not know that his dad is dead? And that he lived with his grandma growing up? Like,
how would they,
like,
you know?
But how would he rise through the ranks of the police department without them knowing about this person's life?
True, yeah.
And he's calling someone dad on the phone in front of Queenan. And Queenan's not like, well, that's fucking weird. This guy doesn't have a dad.
Well, I guess in that moment it was because it was last minute. Because the moment that Alec Baldwin sees Matt Damon, he's like, sorry for the late notice. So maybe that's why, because he on the phone he's like, oh, I won't be able to make it for supper.
But he says, Dad.
Yeah.
He says, all right, Dad, I'll talk to you later.
Oh, true. Yeah.
He ends with, all right, Dad, and my friends are coming. It is a fucking, but like, just hearing him have that conversation.
Oh,
hold on, his dad's alive and he can't make it to dinner, but his friends will be going to dinner with his dad. His dad's still got to do fucking dinner for the friends?
Yeah.
Yeah. Queenan should have been like, what was that all about? Who were you on the phone with? And if he's like, oh, it was my dad. Oh, it was not. I mean, I hate to break this to you, Matt Damon, but your dad is dead.
Oh, well, not my biological father, just someone who helped raise me.
You grew up with your grandma. Do you think we would promote you as often as we have in the Massachusetts State Troopers without having a detailed history of your past?
Why don't you come take a seat? Why don't you take a seat right over here?
No, we got work to do, and they're going to actually put you in a back room because I don't want you to be a part of this. I think you're on the phone with Costello. Call the number. Get his phone. Get his phone and call the person he just called. Call it. It's his dad. He's calling fucking dad. He doesn't have a dad.
Yeah, that's probably how it would go.
Matt Damon loses that for sure.
That's what I'm saying.
But he didn't. He won't be home for supper. And Martin Sheen goes, all right, you know the players. You call the game. And he hands him like a stack of things. And he's getting ready, and Costello's wife goes, well, you gonna take me to confession before work or fuck me or what? He goes, what do you gotta confess to that anointed pederast? Anointed pederasts.
I don't even know what that means.
Like pedophile.
Okay, that's what I was...
Anointed, like, anointed into the church.
Okay, because I thought I heard a T in there.
So he's saying a priest who fucks people.
Yeah.
But he said anointed pederast. I had never heard that prior to this. I've never heard it since. I love that line.
Yeah.
Anointed pederast.
Pederast.
And
wow.
They're going... Matt Damon is texting. It's on flip phones. And like a champ, he is opening texts on his phone and texting Costello. And, like, we're hearing, like, guys are like, oh, blah, 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 we're going to track the phones, yada, yada, yada. And so he texts Costello, no phones. And then they get out, and Costello goes, all right, turn your phones off. So everyone obliges except for Leonardo DiCaprio, because he's like, I can't.
Yeah.
I got to be able to reach out to those people. And as they're walking in, Matt Damon's telling everyone, he's like, all right, there's obviously Frank Costello, there's Mr. French, Fitzy, Delahunt, and the new guy, Billy Costigan, which is Leo's character is Billy Costigan. They're in a warehouse with a bunch of Chinese people. Like, we just see them, like, kind of like lurking in the shadows as they walk in, and you're like, this is bananas.
Yeah.
And there's a blind spot in there. The camera isn't reaching where they are. And Alec Baldwin goes, what the hell? Why is there a blind spot? And the guy says, I mean, we only had 2 hours to set this up. What do you think, we're NASA? And Alec Baldwin immediately goes, never crossed my mind. Like, no, I do not think you're NASA.
Yeah.
NASA would have had this shit up. I never considered you being NASA.
Alec Baldwin's very quick with it.
Yeah. If he was in more of this movie, and if he killed less people on the set, he could be a great part. He could, like, fucking make magic happen here, but he's just too small of a role, and he killed too many people. So there is a guy who comes up who's clearly like he's the translator. He comes up and tells Frank, he's like, at least 2 of these gentlemen have machine guns. And Frank's like, what's that all about? And then there's a dude just fucking pacing back and forth and just screaming in Chinese. And you're like, the fuck is his deal?
Yeah.
This is crazy. And Frank's like, all right, let's calm this down. Like, if Bruce Lee, you tell Bruce Lee and the Karate Kid that I don't like dealing with people who have automatic weapons. He's like, because it don't add inches to your dick, and you get a life sentence for him. And, like, guys, he's translating this. He's like, why? He's like, in this country, he says this country a lot. In this country, you don't show up to meetings with automatic weapons. And they're going back and forth. The guy, there's a blind spot there. All the phones went off, and he's like, there's fucking 807 phones in the area. Like, we can't, like, what? And then Queenan gets a text. And he's like, oh, wait, there's one on. the guy says. And Queenan gets a text that says buyers are here. And Queenan closes the phone and goes, it's my guy. The buyers are there. And Alec Baldwin says, direct contact with your undercover would have its advantages. And Queenan says, not for my guy.
No.
Like meaning there would be no advantage for Billy in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know I'm not the rat. I know he's safe.
Yeah.
I know me and Dignam are the only two people who know he exists, and he's fine.
Yeah.
I don't want anyone else to have contact. So they're talking, and his phone goes off. And
You're talking about Leo's, right?
Yeah, Leo shuts his phone off.
Yeah, so after he sends the text, he shuts his phone off.
And they're asking about the cameras, and he's like, what about the back? He's like, do you have cameras in the back? And the guy goes, what back? And fucking...
Well, what ends up happening is we see the cars in the front view, in the front camera, they drive off, and he's like, don't tell me those fucking cars.
Not yet.
No?
Not yet.
Because I thought that's when they go to the back.
Marky Mark, he's like, who the fuck set up this operation? And the guy says, who the fuck are you? The guy who set it up.
Yeah. He
Marky
goes,
Mark says,
I'm the guy that does his fucking job. You must be the other guy.
Boom. And now we're back to Frank Costello talking, and he says, if these chinks want to nuke Taiwan this century, they will shape up and pay me $1 million. No ticky, no laundry. It's great.
Yeah.
Then the cars start moving. And Alec Baldwin goes, are those Chinaman cars empty? Please tell me those Chinaman's cars are not empty. And then he goes to the guy who was running this, and he goes, can I talk to you for a second? And the guy's like, I'm going to get yelled at. And he gets up, and they walk like a step over, and then Alec Baldwin hits him in the face.
You son of a
and
bitch!
He's fucking going out. I'll fucking kill you. You ruined the whole thing.
I'm going to rip your dick off. I'm going to shove it up your fucking ass.
He's like, we fucking had him. We fucking had him, you piece of shit. Like, he's going out of his fucking mind, and you're like, oh, my God.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fucking
Like,
great.
Baldwin is losing it.
It's awesome.
So, and then we see them out the back, and there's fucking ships leaving with the stuff. Frank Costello looks at Leo and goes, they didn't know we had a navy, did they?
Yeah.
And we now, Leo is at the airport walking on a fucking, like, the people movers, and he's digging him. He's like, where's Queen? Put him on the phone. He's like, what's the matter, sweetheart? Talk to me. It's Marky Mark.
Yeah.
He goes, I didn't talk to Queen. He's like, Queen had to go to a funeral. He's not here. And he's like, all right, you need to tell us. He's like, there's a rat in your apartment. You need to flush him out. He's like, yeah, how do you expect us to do that, Mr. Big fucking Genius who didn't even graduate the academy? And he's like, you tell SIU you have a wiretap warrant for Costello's apartment. You tell only SIU, and we see what comes out my end. Which, not a terrible idea.
It makes total sense. You're like categorizing different groups, and you're seeing which one ends up.
But Marky Mark's like, nah.
Yeah.
No, just, he's like, hey, if you want to meet up or you got something real, you fucking call me. And then he hangs up on him. Like, he doesn't care about any of that. Leo is now having a coffee date with the therapist, and he asks how long she's been with him, and she's like, oh, a couple months, blah, blah, blah. And he says, do you love him? And she never, in this meeting, I don't think she does in this movie at all, she does not say she loves him.
Yeah.
She talks about how, like, you got to make a commitment, blah, blah, blah. She dances around the question.
Yeah.
And then Leo says, what would you do if he walked in and saw us sitting here? And she says, I would lie. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would lie to him, meaning like, yeah, this is more than just us grabbing coffee.
Yeah.
I would not tell him how I really feel about you and I grabbing coffee. And she's now moving into Matt Damon's place, and he's going through her stuff, and he's like, all right, well, he like sees a kid, like a child picture of her. He's like, all right, well, we're not putting this up. And she's like, what do you mean? He's like, look, I love you, but like we're not. You see any fucking pictures of me and where I came from here? No, we're not doing this. What if we have guests? She's like, what if we have guests? And then he comes out and he goes, hey, let me ask you something. Why do you work for the state? She goes, you do? He goes, yeah, but with your fucking diplomas, you're hot shit. Why do you make as much as a guidance counselor? And she says that, some of them get better. I like the work.
Yeah, she likes serving her community.
Yeah, and then the phone rings as they're kissing, and he's like, oh, no, you answer it. It'll be your first call in the new place. It'll be great. And she answers it and says, Mayor Sullivan's office. And you hear, put Colin on the phone now.
And it's like a robotic kind of like raspy.
So it sounds like exactly what she says. She goes, "Oh, sorry, I think it's like a cancer guy."
Yeah.
Sounds like that, like a fucking someone has a voice box because they have throat cancer.
Yeah.
That's what it sounded like. But she says, "Oh, sorry, I think it's like a cancer guy or something." You want to talk to the cancer guy?
Yeah.
It's great. Yeah. And he takes it out on the balcony, and he's like, "What the fuck is it with you and your phone?" And he's like, "And what's the deal? Was you fucking playing house there?" And he's like, "Well, remember when I told you, she was gonna move in? Well, she moved in."
And he starts saying some funny shit.
He's Jack Nicholson's very upset with him, and he says, "We got a rat. It's someone in the fucking Stadies, blah, blah, blah." He goes, "Do you like little Miss Thing sucking on your cock?" And he's like, "Yeah, yes, I do." He's like, "All right." And he says, like, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, look, I'll do it. I'm doing my best. He's like, "Your best? Your best? We're not in the haberdashery business, Colin. I don't need your best. I need results." And he's like, "All right, well, what you got to do is you got to get me information. You need to give me their socials, their driver's license number." He goes, "Get you? Give you? Do you know who the fuck you're working for?" He's like, "I'm sorry, Frank, please, could you get me these things so I could do my job, blah, blah. I want to get the rat, blah, blah." He's doing all this stuff. He's like, "Calm down, Colin. I'll get you the info, and you'll take care of this for me. Or another guy will be sticking his fat cock up little Miss Freud's ass." And then he hangs up. After he hangs up, we hear, "Hiya, Francis." And he turns, and it's Queenan and Marky Mark.
Yep.
And they're like leaning up against the wall through a breezeway, and he goes, "My mother called me Francis." And he says, "I know she did. And your father called you the tumor." He goes, "And what did your father call you?" "Oh, that's right. He wasn't around." And he goes, "What did you do with the real microprocessors, Frank?" And he goes, "Microprocessors. Oh, yeah. You arrested some Chinaman at the border with some light sockets." And Marky Mark says, "I can't wait to wipe that fucking smile off your face." And he goes, "Would you rather wipe my ass?"
Yeah.
We then cut to Mayor Sullivan's office, and the wife or the girlfriend is like, "You have a boss with a laryngectomy?" He goes, "No, that's someone, that guy works for me." And she could see on the balcony that, like, he's getting yelled at by someone in authority. You can tell by, like, the way he's reacting on the phone and all of that. And, like, she's like, "No, that's not the case." And he's like, "Look, there's just some parts of my job that I can't tell you, and you honestly, you don't even want to know." And, like, he kind of played it cute, and they start kissing, and then the movers start ringing the doorbell, and he yells. He goes, "Come on! The worst fucking time!" And he goes to get it. We then see it's Costello and Queenan are standing face to face. It's weird because there's now a third guy there, and he and Marky Mark are leaned up against the wall.
Yeah.
And it's just Queenan and Costello. I'd never noticed that until this time I watched it. How long did Marky Mark just walk away, and where'd the third guy come from?
Yeah.
And Queenan says, "I'm going to get you, Frank." And he says, "If you coulda, you woulda by now. But hey, I guess you like to work at your own pace." That scene is that. Or he's like, "I got a date with some angels." And his
it's
wife's
like
over there with a fucking...
walking with a bunch of like preschoolers that are dressed up as angels.
We don't know what she does, but she's involved with the church and apparently children and
Yeah.
whatever.
Kind of weird.
Yeah.
Maybe she does charities or like foundations to try and like
Try and counteract all the shit her husband does.
And like maybe clean money too or something.
Yeah, maybe.
You know?
Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? We then hear, "Frankie, your mother forgives me." And there's a guy who looks like he was like doing some kind of drugs and passed out on the couch, and he opens his eyes and there's a Jesus painting and he smiles at the painting and then gets hit over the head with it. And he falls down. It was like glass on the front. And he falls on the ground, and it's Leo, and he points a gun and says, "You take off an armored car at the Denham Mall. What the fuck do? You pay guineas in Providence?" And he goes, "Fucking now I do." And then he like hits him with the gun. And the guy goes, "What? Baby Blue by Badfinger starts playing now.
Yep.
Which I guess it was in the background the whole time.
I didn't really hear it yet.
Yeah, but he had Baby Blue in the fucking weird religious show he was watching on.
Yeah.
But that starts playing, and he goes, "What? I gotta pay Frank so he could turn me into the FBI? Because that's what he does." And Leo's like, "The fuck should you just say to me?"
What?
And then we hear firecrackers going off. He goes, "Jesus Christ, is that French out there?" He goes, "Listen, what the fuck did you just say to me?" He's like, "I don't know, I'm high. I must be high if you think I said what I said." Because, like, he realized I fucked up. I shouldn't have told this guy that. French is out there. I might die if I start talking shit about Frank. And he's like, look at me. Look at me. You need to get it through your very limited brain of yours. I am not going to kill you." And the guy's, like, not answering him, and he shoots him in the leg. And he's like, "Ah!" He's like, "Costello's an FBI informant. All right, he turns people in. That's why he never gets caught." And Leo's like, "Oh, shit." And the guy's like, "I thought I was going to go into shock, but I didn't. It fucking hurts." He's like, "I shot in the leg." He's screaming. And Leo leaves and gets in the car with French. We then see Queenan getting home. It's late at night. Leo is hiding behind a tree, and he goes, "Psst, it's me. It's me." He goes, "Billy, what are you doing here?" He goes, "Costello is an FBI informant." He goes, "What?" He goes, "He's an FBI informant. Aren't they always trying to make it a federal case that never gets made?" And he goes, "Oh, my God." He's like,
God.
Go around back. I'll let you in." And he lets him in out back, and then he comes in, and he's like, "Here's some ice water." He's like, "Oh, thank you." And he starts drinking the ice water, and he goes, Leo's not looking at the wall. It's behind him. And he just points at a picture on the wall and goes, "That's my son, Patrick. He's studying law at Notre Dame." He's like, "Oh, great. Congratulations." Yeah. He goes, "Hey, my wife's asleep, but she left some supper out. You want some supper?" And he's like, "No." He's like, "No, come on. We'll eat some supper and we'll talk." And then he comes. So this is the first scene where you're like, okay. Queenan is a good dude who cares about Leonardo DiCaprio. The first scene that Leo's been a part of, that it seems like that. Other than that, it's just been, "You're not a cop. Do this for me, son.
Do it for me."
Yeah, you should care about me more than you do the average person, apparently.
Yeah.
Like, that didn't make sense. Now it does.
And I'll never give you a dream job, but do it for me.
But do it for me. Please. Please, son. So they go and they have it. Costello has a night at the theater. He apparently he fucks a black chick, I guess, and does coke with her and his wife. It's a whole, what a life he's living.
I like, because it's like a very, almost like the way they shot it and stuff makes it seem like almost lucid. It's like a little hazy. It's kind of like the way they lit it and everything, and he throws a fucking shit ton of cocaine.
There is just a big, like, mixing bowl, like, for fucking, if you're baking a cake.
Literally.
Full of coke, and he just grabs a handful and throws it on the bed.
He goes, "Don't move until you're numb."
Yeah, like, that is, he threw hundreds of dollars of coke, if not thousands.
Yeah.
What he threw. That bowl is thousands of dollars.
Oh, easily.
What he threw.
I mean, like, wouldn't it be like a solid amount of coke? Like, that's like $1,000 worth of fucking coke solid?
No.
Yeah, because if it's like solid and it's like real, don't they like break it down, like cut it and shit?
Oh, pure uncut. So I have no idea what pure uncut is. What you just held up, though, that's about $60 worth of coke.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought,
I've
never done coke.
But here's the thing. I've done plenty of coke.
It is like a little bit like of a bag kind of thing.
Yeah, but like that much, like 60. But I've never bought pure coke from the source.
Yeah,
I was never. Despite what you guys think the 5-6 Kings are, I was buying stuff from a guy who got it from another guy who got it from another guy who probably got it from another guy.
After it was shipped in.
I was way down the line on the coke train, and that was about $60 worth.
Wow.
This was also. But The Departed was fucking 15 years ago. So, yeah. But
inflation.
There we go. Yeah. $100 or let's say $800 handful of coke.
Okay, yeah.
He just throws it. He's like, "Don't stop till you're numb."
Yeah,
Jesus
curveball
Christ.
pitch it. Yeah.
We're at some weird bar thing, like I don't know. It was a nasty warehouse with like a nice bar in it though.
Yeah.
And he's like, "You need your driver's license, your social security, your bank account numbers." He's like, "I don't have a fucking bank account." Leo is. He's saying this to French. And Delahunt goes, "I'm a cash businessman myself." And he starts writing down. He writes down all of his stuff. And Fitzy's writing on the envelope. He's writing Citizens Trust. And he goes, "I don't know if this is how you fucking spell citizens, but here you go." And
he's got 3 eyes in it.
No, it's this. And like scratches it out and spells it correctly. He goes, What are you, fucking retarded? That ain't fucking right. Look at that. Citizens. And then Leo spelled it correctly.
Yeah.
We need to... You have the videos. We need a montage of every time my microphone falls. That needs to be something we do. Because guys, Braden's microphone has fallen 0 times since we started recording this. Just in general, like recording the 5-6 Kings. Mine, multiple times an episode, it falls.
We need to get it some gas station dick pills.
It's a microphone, Braden. I don't think it could swallow the pills. It's an inanimate object. I don't think the pills would do anything to it.
He might be right.
Yeah.
But little fun fact, they drew an X.
Gas station Dick's pills don't work on
electronics.
Microphones. That's a fun fact. They drew an X there.
Yeah. So that's supposed to be because like it's symbolizing they're going to find someone that they're going to murder, or hopefully, you know what I'm saying. It's all about finding the rat.
Yeah, I guess. This is a very important envelope.
Yeah.
And Leo's like, I'm not staying. They're like, hey, boss told us to stay. He's like, I'm not fucking staying.
You can fucking tell him I said that.
You can tell him I said that. And he leaves, and he goes to the therapist's house, and Comfortably Numb is playing by it's. I don't think it's the Pink Floyd version. I think it's just Roger Waters.
This is when it's raining out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He goes there and he looks. She's like moving out still. She's like, I got 3 weeks left on the lease. He's like, what are you hedging your bet? He's like, nah. I got the lease isn't out. I'm kind of slowly moving over. And then he looks and sees that there's a picture of her as a kid. And he looks at her and smiles and he hangs it up on the wall. And the tea that they're gonna have is ready. So they drink some tea and they're talking. And she goes, your vulnerability right now is really freaking me out. Is it real? And he goes, I think so. And then he looks around and says, you don't have any cats? And she goes, no. He goes, I like that. And then they fuck. That's the line she needed.
Yeah, the cat line is fucking weird.
He needed to know there were no cats.
Yeah.
She needed to know he liked something about her.
Mm-hmm. And
boom.
What's funny is all of these scenes that Leo and Matt are having with her are completely opposite of each other. It's supposed to be building that irony and that contrast of like how these are two very, very similar people who are coming from trauma, living up and growing up in Boston, and being around mobsters and being an individual, and how they basically choose to be different, from each other. And not like very deliberate, like, oh, I'm being different from you, but it just shows how like through similar scenarios and circumstances, you could still be like your own person, individual, and stuff like that, and just showing like the difference between the two main characters. They do a great job at following.
Isn't it ironic?
Oh, super ironic.
Don't you think?
Do I?
A little too ironic. Yeah, I really do think. It's like rain on your wedding day. At what point did you know that's what I was doing?
The second time, or like the second line that you...
When I said, don't you think?
Yeah. I know where he's going with this now.
We are now at the driving range, and Alec Baldwin is congratulating Matt Damon. He is now tasked with finding Costello's rat inside the Boston State Police. So go find yourself, is what he's being told. And he's like, sick, you kidding me?
Awesome.
And he's like,
but
we went through a lot of candidates, and you have an immaculate record. Some people don't trust the guy with an immaculate record. I do. I have an immaculate record. I think he meant to say I had an immaculate record because he killed somebody since then. Alec Baldwin does not have an immaculate record any longer.
Not at all.
He is a murderer. Sure, it wasn't an accident. Maybe. Who's to say? The person's dead all the same, and he did it.
And you know what?
I think he created the whole Johnny Depp Amber Heard thing just to get he's like, let's fucking push everyone in other directions.
That's a good conspiracy.
And people
David.
forget that Alec Baldwin killed a person.
That's very true. And like, no consequence. Really.
Marvin Harrison. Are you familiar with Marvin Harrison? former wide receiver of the Indianapolis Colts, Hall of Famer. People say he's in an era with Randy Moss and Terrell Owens. People say that he's the greatest wide receiver from that era. I disagree because I like Flash.
Mm-hmm.
Marvin Harrison. See how fucked up it is? I can't remember exactly what happened. He either just shot someone or killed someone. And it never gets talked about. Never. They were like driving in the car and he like ran out shooting at him. Guys, it never gets brought up that Marvin Harrison did that.
That's that NFL money just paying off.
Yeah, but like fucking Ray Rice, there was video of him chasing after the car. There's video of Ray Rice hitting the woman. Ray Rice never fucking played in the NFL again. Like, that did not get swept under the rug.
Well,
Michael Vick with the Dogs, that didn't get swept under the rug. Marvin Harrison, what's his deal? He's just fucking shooting at people.
The PR team's getting
He's
better,
shooting
David.
at people, and he was like, Ray, I need you to go punch your girlfriend in the fucking elevator with the camera so people just look the other way with my whole thing. And Ray's like, I got you. I've been dying for a reason to do this. I got you. God, did you ever watch that video? The Ray Rice video?
Yeah, I did.
Dude, he
fucked up, bro.
He like jabs her first.
Bro,
she
it's like,
goes against, and she comes
didn't
at him.
he
He takes
drag
her out.
out the elevator too and shit, bro?
Well, you can't
Like,
leave her in the elevator. People made too big a deal about that one. What would you have liked? Would you have liked to just leave her unconscious body in the elevator and leave? What if no one rides in the elevator? He took her out of the elevator. That's the people always talk about it. He fucking hit her twice. Just talk about that.
dude, it's wild.
Just talk about the fact that he hit her twice.
Oh, man, it's fucking crazy.
Yeah. The Immaculate Records, he's like, how's the wedding come along? He goes, great. No, she's a doctor. He goes,
Doctor.
Great. Marriage is a great thing, lets people know at least someone could stand the son of a bitch. Women see it, and they know, all right, he must have some money, and his cock must work.
And he's
goes,
not a homo.
Oh, and you're not a homo.
Which
There
is
you
a
go.
part of the hint. Oh, but
he says, and his cock must work, and Matt Damon says, oh, it's working.
yeah,
Overtime.
overtime. Yeah.
And,
So
and Alec Baldwin says, that's fantastic.
that's fantastic. Glad to
That
hear.
is- that is- it's working overtime. That's fantastic.
Yeah, very weird
You
how
can tell
how casual
you
it was
could
from.
tell he had the hunger back then.
Mm.
What kind of psycho responds? That's fantastic. Other than one who's going to shoot a woman years later.
And casually say it. So yeah, more to your point for sure.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, but this definitely hints at that Matt Damon is trying to cover up that he could be, in the closet, and that he's using this alter ego as well for, to create a certain persona and image about him, so he can. So maybe he thinks it's going to help him rise up, whether it's with mobsters or whether it's in the police department. That so that's part of the conspiracy. I think it definitely adds in this scene.
Yeah, sure.
Right?
Sure. Leo is now following Costello, and he sees that he's holding the Citizens Trust envelope. Damon is at some smut theater, and a guy in a trench coat and a big hat comes and sits in the row in front of him, and he's like, yeah. Oh, yeah, be dirty, be dirty. And, like, gets up and, like, runs over towards Matt Damon, and then we see that he's holding a fake dick, and it's Frank Costello.
Yeah.
And he laughs. He's like, Jesus Christ, Frank. And he's like, what are you doing picking this place? Any cop just comes here and could see us together. He's like, why'd you come if it was such a bad idea? And he goes, I own the place. So he owns the smut theater.
Yeah.
And
We end up seeing Leo behind them too, but
he's in the back of it, and he's watching them. And he's texting with Queenan, and Queenan says visual ID of the suspect. And just they're talking back and forth, and Matt Damon's like, I gotta find myself. I gotta find the rat that you have in the thing. And he's like, well, you looking for with everyone looking up their own ass and you looking for yourself, I put my money on no one finds nothing. And he goes, but listen, you gotta lay low for me, Frank. And he goes, laying low is not what I do. He goes, oh, fucking Big Daddy Frank. There we go. How am I any good to you if you don't fucking listen to me? And, like, they just go back and forth.
yeah.
And he's like, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, and let me remind you, if you don't find the rat fucker in your department, most likely won't be me who suffers. He goes, now why would you have to remind me of that? Would I be any fucking good at what I do if I didn't know that? All right? Look, it involves fucking lying, and I'm pretty fucking good at that, Frank. All right? He's like, I never understood jacking off in theaters. Maybe it was just always so easy for me to get pussy, but I never understood this. And then he drops the envelope as he's leaving and then, like, bends over and picks it up and hands Matt Damon the Citizens Trust envelope, and he says, I know you'll take care of business for me. And then he leaves.
So before we move on, in the beginning of this, back to the conspiracy, we see Matt Damon basically reacting while he's by himself before he's with fuck. I don't know why I'm blanking right now. Jack Nicholson.
Nope. Jack Nicholson.
Yeah. But
the great act Jack Nicholson, you might remind him from The Shining Sin or Anger Management Sin.
There you go. But while Matt Damon's by himself, he's reacting, being whether like they were like they don't know exactly, but he's either reacting to the porn on the screen, which is a bunch of women having like lesbian sex.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. It is uncomfortable that almost everything that you've said in this episode, almost everything you've brought to this episode, has been the conspiracy that Matt Damon's character might be gay.
There's a lot of hints.
Dude, there is like 12 minutes of you talking in this episode, and it's all been that.
But it's all going to add up.
It has all been Matt Damon
it's adding
gay.
up. So
as if that's what the guys, like, the movie is not about is Matt Damon gay. It's about Jack Nicholson runs a mafia unit, and he's got cops and he's got rats in his department, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Braden has only talked about Matt Damon's character maybe being gay.
Come on, bro. I talked a little bit more than that.
Yeah, so most of it has been this though.
But
let's move on. It's a thing on the internet. It's not important.
No, but I'm saying it kind of ties in with certain, like, this whole movie is based on symbolism and irony and metaphors, and that's what they're trying to say, is that this guy is in the closet, and that the irony between him staying in the closet and not showing who he really is and keeping this alter ego is the irony of him being a criminal and acting like a cop. It's that alter ego. It's the irony of that. So that's like the whole reason.
There you go.
Yeah.
So Leo follows Matt Damon out the back door. He does not follow him very well. He's like really close to him, and he's loud.
Yeah.
And Matt Damon can see his shadow like running after him.
And then
his ringer's on. So here's the thing. His phone was on silent in the theater.
Yep.
We heard it buzz, and now he's out there and it rings, and he gets a text message from Queenan.
That's a spoof.
Yeah. And it says, make the arrest. And Matt Damon, like, heard the ring. Like, they both, like, reacted. We see big shadows, like, both duck when they hear the ring.
So Matt Damon
Leo
starts running. And right as he starts running, we get a shot when he's running, like, towards Matt, and we see a big X.
There we go.
There we go.
There we go. You could have said that after, so we didn't know that someone was about to die.
Ah.
Matt Damon is waiting behind the truck with a knife out, and someone comes around the corner of a truck, and he stabs him. And then he pulls it out, and it's a fucking Chinese delivery boy, and he like drops the stuff and falls on the ground. And he's like, "Oh, I just fucking killed someone. I gotta go!"
Shit.
And he runs off. Leo comes up with the gun, and he looks and sees that he's not there. Matt Damon's now in the middle of the street, and he looks behind him, and there's a street camera that's just like on his face, and he's like, "Oh boy,
fuck!"
Gets out of there. We now see him. He apparently went straight to the station because he's there and he's looking at the street camera footage. And Darlene walks in. He goes, "Hi, Darlene." And he looks. He can't see. So he sees Leo run after him, and he can't figure out who Leo is, and he just deletes it so he's not on there near a fucking murder. And he goes, "That's it from me. Good night, hon." And then leaves. We're now at a nicer restaurant that we hadn't seen to this point.
Mm-hmm.
And Frank is drawing rats in front of the State Department.
Pretty good drawing.
Or the Massachusetts State House.
Yep. An overflow amount of fucking rats.
Everywhere. And Leo sits down and he goes, "Smell a rat?" He goes, "You got a girlfriend?" And he goes, "Nah." He goes, "Ex-wife?" "No." And he goes, "All right, so I've got this rat. You know, just
this scheming
little gnawing, cheese-eating cocksucker. Either with the Stadies or Boston PD." And Leo goes, "Oh, I mean, sure it's not the FBI?" And he goes, "No, it ain't the FBI." So is Leo being like, "Oh, why not FBI?" Mr. FBI informant. And then he goes, ex-wife. And he looks confused. He goes, old girlfriend? They're stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Leo goes, stupid, huh? Well, I guess that leaves me out. And they both laugh.
Yeah.
And then he's like, they're going back and forth, and
Leo's like,
Leo goes, now, could I do murder? You know, it's because you guys are all murderers, right? And I ask myself, could I murder? And then the answer I just give myself is, what's the difference? He goes, send him the almighty, huh? He goes, yeah, so here's the deal, Frank. You accuse me once, I put up with it. You accuse me twice, I quit. You pressure me to fear for my life, and I will put a bullet in your head as if you're anybody else. And then we hear something fall under the table, and Frank pulls out a gun and kind of looks down it, and then points it at Leo and goes, you got something you want to ask me? And does that and goes, look, Jesus, Frank, you're 70 years old. You know, all I'm saying is, you know,
all I'm saying
is like, what are you doing? Like, you're messing around. You're being too loose. You're gonna get caught. Like, you don't need the money. And he goes, I haven't needed the money since I stole Archie's milk money in the 3rd grade. Tell you the truth, I don't need pussy anymore, but I like it.
I like it.
Yeah. And then he goes, why didn't you stay at the bar that night I got your numbers? You know, license, social security, everyone's fucking numbers. And he's like, is that what this... If you want to ask me something, I'll tell you the fucking truth, Frank. I'm not the fucking rat. And he goes, start first with you agreeing that there is a rat. He goes, you said there's a rat. I base most of what I do on the idea that you're pretty fucking good at what you do, Frank. And he's like, yeah. He said, so what would you do? Huh? And he's like, well, Frank, how many of your guys have been working for you long enough to get disgruntled? You know, you don't pay much. You know, and what it would come down to is who thinks that they can do what you do better than you. Because the only person who could do what I do is me.
Me.
A lot of people had to die for me to be me. And he says, do you think you could do what I can do? Or what I do? And Leo goes, yeah, I probably could be you. But I don't want to be you, Frank. And he goes, heavy lies the crown, sort of thing. And he's like, yeah. And then the guy who apparently owns the place is like, Frank, I have to leave, but you'll have to lock up, okay? He goes, yeah, I'll see you Christmas.
Yeah, so Costello liked what he was, putting down.
Yeah.
He
then
fun fact.
He then smashes a bug on the table and says, you know what I like about restaurants? And he goes, I don't know, the fucking food, and then he eats it.
Yeah, which
you'll learn a lot watching things eat. There's a boat coming up, Gloucester. However the fuck they say.
Yeah, it was a weird.
Yeah. Gloucester. Gloucester. There's a boat coming up, Gloucester. That's how they say it. There's a boat coming up, Gloucester. French will give you the details. Eat something. And he starts walking off, and then he comes up and he goes to French, and then Leo realizes he's behind him, and he reaches, excuse me, French, just gonna grab my cigarette, and then he goes, eat something to Leo, and he walks off. French says, in the future, when I tell you to do something, you fucking do it. You understand me? He's like, yeah, I understand.
So, fun fact time. Wow!
Matt Damon's character's gay!
Who would have thought? So in this scene, they did a couple takes, and apparently the scene, the take that they actually used in this scene was when Jack Nicholson was like, I want to do something. Let me do something, basically to Martin Scorsese. He's like, okay. And then he improv'd the whole gun. So the gun was never in the scene up until that take. So they used that take, and apparently same for Leo's reaction. That was all.
So Leo didn't know the gun was going to be there.
Exactly.
That's great.
So that's a genuine reaction that Leo had that Jack Nicholson just pulled out on the spot. So kudos to that type of acting. Fucking top of the line right there.
That's great.
Yeah.
So now we're back at the precinct, And Marky Mark walks out of Queenan's office. Matt Damon's trying to go in, and he kind of keeps stepping in his way. Matt Damon goes, "We have a problem." He says, "Yeah, I run rat fucks like you, all right? I don't like them." And Matt Damon says, "The day you wouldn't take a promotion, let me know." And he goes, "And I'm going to need access to those undercovers." He goes, "Why don't you blow me?" Not literally, though. Unfortunately, there's no promotion involved for you. He walks in. Queenan calls him the prom queen. He's like, "Yeah, they do not like me out there." He's like, "Yeah, you're investigating them. They're going to fucking hate you for a while, but you're going to find Costello's rat. Like, that's what your job is here. It's going to be great." And like I tell you, my guy lost him in the street the other day. He almost had him, and then he lost him. He's like, "Really?" He's like, "I mean, did he get a look at him? You know, anything that could help us?" And Queen's like, "Nah. No, he didn't." And then he says, "Follow Costello. You'll find his rat." And we see him. He's conflicted. He's in his office. Marky Mark's flipping him off. And he's sitting there and he's looking back. He was in bed with his girlfriend the other night. And he's like, "Hey, if I wasn't a trooper, you know, like I quit the force and I did law school full time, I could be done in a year. And then, you know, like maybe we move, we start somewhere fresh, we get a new town." And he's like, "Look, if this isn't going to work, you're going to have to leave me because, you know, I'm Irish. I'll fucking stay in something forever if it doesn't work. I'll just be unhappy." Which fucking, I don't know if Matt Damon's Irish in real life, but like, fuck you, Matt Damon, if you're not. You know, that's fucking, I'm Irish. I'll just be unhappy the rest of my life. He's not wrong.
Yeah,
you know, I'm 100% Irish. He's not wrong. But like, fuck you, Matt Damon, unless you're Irish. And you know, he might be Irish.
Yeah.
He's probably Irish, in which case, like, yeah, you can say that. Good for you. He's like, I'll just deal with something being wrong for the rest of my life. And, which, you know, maybe it's factors with a woman.
It's pretty nihilistic right there.
Yeah. Well, and, you know, he'll be with a woman the rest of his life, even though he wants to be with a man. There you go, Braden.
God.
Yeah.
Conspiracy's coming true.
And we now see Fitzy and Delahunt. They're out in front of the bar, and Delahunt's like, "Of course I know how to spot a cop. If they ignore us, they're cops. Like, look at that guy over there. He's a cop."
Just some dude walking by down the street.
Just not looking at them. A woman walks by walking her dog, and Fitzy goes, "Hey, how you doing? What kind of dog is that?" And she just keeps walking. And he goes, "Oh, she must have been a cop." He's like, "She's probably fucking police commissioner." Leo is in the bar. There's a bunch of people there, a bunch of like young, like fucking cut dudes. And Frank comes out covered in blood. He's like, "Hey, what you doing there, bud?" He's like, "Hey, I thought I was on for this." Like, no, take the knife off. I'm gonna run with a whole new crew tonight. But yeah, let's you know, we'll circle back, you know. And he's covered in blood, and he looks at Jimmy. He goes, "Hey, Jimmy, bring a mop." And they go back there, and they're like, "Okay, that's weird." Leo walks out, and Delahunt says, "You're a cop." He goes,
"Huh?
What'd you just say to me?" He goes, "You ignored us. You're a cop. We're guessing who cops are. You know most good-looking women are cops?" And he goes, "All right, well, he gave me the night off. He's playing with his new guys tonight, so I'll see you guys later." And they're like, "All right, see you later. See you later, Billy." Damon is now, he's the Citizens Trust envelope, and he's got everyone's information. He's looking them up, and he can't find any of them in the police database. So he's like, none of them are cops.
Yeah.
None of these people with the numbers that we have are cops.
Yeah.
Damon then is on the phone with Costello, and Costello goes, "You're nothing about boats from Worcester." Well, whatever the fuck. It's not Worcester. It's the other place. Nothing
Manchester?
No, it's not. No, it's I can pronounce Manchester. It's the word that we had a very hard time saying.
Oh, Gloucester or some shit?
Gloucester.
Gloucester.
Gloucester, whatever it is. He's like, nothing about a boat, nothing about new guys. He's like, no, and I would have. That information would have come to me. He's like, all right, and he hangs up and he goes, all right, it's not Leo. He says, no way. You're like, all right, so he cleared him. Leo, in his mind, hears Captain Queenan say, "Follow Costello, you'll get his rat." And then he makes a call and says, "This is Sergeant Sullivan. I need constant surveillance on Captain Queenan starting now." And they're like, all right. And then he's on the phone with the guy who in Jurassic World, he was on the wall, and I described him as delicate sensibility guy from The Departed. He says the line, he's like, "Why are we following Captain Queenan, Sarge? Is it to find the good Catholic like?" He's like, "We have to look into any of them, no matter how unlikely, no matter how stressful they are to your delicate fucking sensibility. Who told you I got delicate sensibility? I just don't like it is all. And they follow us, and then we got to follow them and all that stuff. Okay, this is a fucking long episode. Let's try to put a bow on this.
Oh, yeah.
And so Queenan, they're following Queenan. He gets on a train, and he's on the phone with Leo. Leo's down the train. Like, we see him. He's got a headpiece in, and he's like, you by any chance have a tail? And he's like, no, Billy, I don't have a tail. And I'm like, all right, Jesus. He's like, get off at South Station. Wait there 10 minutes, and I'll text you where to go. He's like, South Station, 10 minutes. You got it.
Got it.
So he does that, and he texts him 344 Wash. So Queenan goes to 344 Washington Street, goes up to the top floor, meets Leo on the roof. The guy following Queenan goes, and he says, they're at a empty bill. Whole building's empty. They're up on the top, 344 Wash. He's like, all right, he's got to be meeting them. And Damon
Just tells him to stay put, though.
Yeah, Leo's freaking out on the building. He's like, he's fucking spooky. He's covered in blood. He's got a whole new crew. I know it's me. He's gonna know it's me. Yeah, he's fucking going nuts. He's like, you're gonna fucking kill me. I know it. And that did it.
Yeah.
That did it.
Yeah.
And then Damon calls Costello, and then Delahunt calls Leo and says, we found the rat. He's at 314 Washington Street. Hurry up. Meet us there. And he hangs up. He goes, you were follow. Queen goes, by who? He goes, Costello's people. He goes, impossible. Like,
come on.
All right, well, we don't have time for this. He's like, yeah, let's go. Yeah, someone found you. As they're leaving, they see Costello's boys pull up, and the police people are out there, and like, Jesus Christ, they're meeting with the whole crew. Yeah. And Damon's like, all right, he must be our guy. And they try to go down the stairs, and they see him coming up. He's like, all right, go up to the top, take the fire escape. He's like, what about you? He's like, just go. If you get made, I can't protect you. He's like, okay. So Leo leaves.
And now he's so sketchy. He's just waiting by the elevator. He's like trying to light up a cigarette.
He puts the cigarette in his mouth, and then he throws his lighter.
So
he has no lighter.
Yeah.
The elevator opens, and it's Delahunt and Fitzy, and they fucking cock a shotgun, and he goes, one of you mugs got a light? And Fitzy goes, where's your boy? He goes, he's studying law at Notre Dame. He goes, where's your fucking boy? And they're screaming, like, the guys come out of there. They're all fucking with him now. We see Leo out on the street, and we see Queenan's body falling.
And as it's falling, all the windows have X's on them.
There we go. And he, like, Leo, it almost lands on Leo. He, like, takes a step back, and the body falls, and blood explodes all over him. And he's like, well, Queenan's fucking dead. Yeah. Sucks. Like, he's sad.
That's crazy. He checks his pulse. Like, come on, bro. This dude's his brains are splattered on the ground.
So much blood. And the guys are like, Sarge, something just came off the fucking roof. And one guy's, it's like a fucking body, Sarge. It's a fucking body. He's like, do you want us to pursue? We can get on foot. And you're like, no, don't pursue. Do not pursue. He's like, all right, no pursue. And then Costello's boy come out, and they're like, where were you? You're fucking late. Get in the van. And he gets in. He's like, what the fuck happened? Like, get in the van. They get in. The one guy, Della, gets in his belly. He's like, no pursue. Fuck this. And they get out, and they start shooting. Delahunt takes a shot to the chest. This guy takes a shot to the chest. People are shot on both sides. Yeah. The van drives off. They're screaming, we need backup. This guy's been shot, blah, blah, blah. And Matt Damon turns off the walkie, turns off the lights in his office.
And he just goes...
That is how you handle your captain and another member of the department being killed.
Yeah, and that's never brought back up. Hey, Sarge, what the fuck happened to you?
Why, yeah. Just radio silent?
Yeah.
We're screaming for backup, and you turn your walkie off? What the hell?
Yeah. That's crazy.
Alec Baldwin, Matt Damon, and Marky Mark are all meeting. Alec Baldwin is asking Matt Damon, he's like, do you know why Queenan went into that building? And he's like, no. And then Marky Mark goes, better question, why the fuck were your guys following him? And he's like, we had reason to believe that Captain Queenan was Costello's rat. He's like, bullshit. From what? He's like, that's internal investigations, blah, blah. Like, he's going back and forth. So Marky Mark just starts beating the fuck out of him.
Yeah, it starts beating the shit out of him.
It gets broken up. People are in there. He's like, I can invest anybody that I want to. Matt Damon's going fucking berserk. He's like, I can investigate anybody that I want to. He's like, Captain, to Alec Baldwin.
Yeah.
Like, he has a box of files with undercovers. I need access to those files. Marky Mark goes, hey, I forgot the passwords, but if you want to come down to the warehouse, if you want to come down to the garage with me, I'd be happy to give them to you. He's like, that's a fucking lie. It's like, nobody calls me a fucking liar. Which, I mean, I
Which
assume
is so
Marky...
funny.
Nobody calls me a liar. I assume Marky Mark was making that up. I assume it was I forgot the passwords, but if you want to come down to the garage with me, I'd be happy to give them to you. Yeah, I don't believe that for a second.
I don't either, but you know what'd be great if he was actually telling the truth.
Yeah, he had he had like the passwords written down
In the
underneath
garage.
mat. It's like under the mat, and he pulls it out. He's like,
Yeah, here they are.
This is it. They're in here. There you go.
Fucking awesome.
There's the password. They break it up, and Alec Baldwin says, Dignam, take a leave of absence. He's like, take a leave of what? He goes, Queenan's dead. I'm your new boss now. He goes, fuck that. I'd rather hand in my papers. He goes, world needs plenty of bartenders. 2 weeks with pay.
Yeah.
He goes, good. And then walks out.
Oh, it's fucking awesome.
Yeah. They are now...
I wanted, like, after rewatching this, like, I want more office scenes. Like, the office scenes are great. There's so much great characters, and they're all just so...
Yeah. It's there. The interactions are fantastic.
Make that the new office.
Marky Mark and Alec Baldwin are fantastic. Every time they're together, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
They're over at the bar, and Fitz, he's like, where the fuck were you? He's like, Foss gave me the night off. He's like, yeah, we went to your house. You weren't there. He goes, I was at the grocery store with no service. When I got the signal, I got the call. What are we arguing about? Was I fucking there or not? And then Delahunt, who's fucking bleeding out over on the couch, like, Billy, come here. Yeah, I figured whoever didn't show up today, he's the rat. You've never been late a day in your life, but I made a mistake. I gave you the wrong address, but you showed up at the right one, huh? And it's because he said 314 wash, and we're at 344 wash, and Leo's like reaching for his gun. He grabs him. He's like, tell me why I didn't tell nobody. Tell me why. And he dies on the couch.
I really wish that Leo, like, knew from the jump, the moment he sat down, like, what this guy was kind of getting to. And instead of, like, letting him talk, just be like, no, it's okay. You don't need to talk. I'm just going to be here the entire... And just, like, over-ramble the top.
Don't worry about it. He's like,
It's okay. I get it. You're hurt.
Yeah,
I feel... I'm right here with you, okay? I'm right here with you, pal. Grabs his fucking hand or something. Like, been awesome.
Leo walks away. He checks the pulse. Guy's dead. Leo starts walking away, and Fitzy's at the bar. He goes, the cop was tough. We were excessive with the cop. And he says, he's dead. I'm going home. And he walks out. Frank is on the phone with Matt Damon, and he's like, you fucking can't kill Queenan. You killed the guy with all the information. What am I supposed to do now? And Dignam's gone. You forget about Dignam. And Frank's like, I don't give a fuck about Dignam. He's like, he left, all right? I don't know where he is. He handed in his papers. And he's like, that Irish pissant, which I don't know who he's talking about. That Irish pissant is so hot for me, you give him a whiff of my ass and he'll crawl right in. So let's give him a whiff. I don't know who he's referring to. But that Irish pissant needs a whiff. And he's like, all right. They hang up. And he looks at his wife and goes, sweetie, you giving me a hot on. And she goes, you sure it's me and not all that talk about whiffing and crawling up asses? And he goes, watch your fucking mouth. And she goes, no, you watch it. And comes and like sits on his lap and they start kissing.
Maybe I think he was talking about Digman.
Yeah, but he's gone. Like Matt Damon. Yeah, we're not going to waste a bunch of time.
You're right,
on this. He said I don't know where to find him. Yeah. So there's no way. Give him a whiff of my how?
Yeah.
Leo is sitting outside the therapist's office, and he goes, I tried calling you a few times. And she goes, yeah, I know. And then she comes over and like goes through his hair, and he kind of hugs her, and she says, I can't be a friend to you. I'm sorry. And she walks away, and he says, I know.
Love.
Now, Matt Damon is in his office, and he has all of Queenan's shit there, and he has a Sprint flip phone that has blood on it, and he picks it up, he flips it open, and he calls the most recent number on there.
Mm-hmm.
Leo's phone rings. He's fucking taking pills and drinking in his
wine
house
or something. Yeah,
and he looks at it, and the phone rings, and it's the phone that only Queenan called.
This is a great scene because they really build suspense through silence and just like letting the phone ring.
Yeah.
I love that.
He finally picks it up. He says nothing. Matt Damon says nothing. And then Leo hangs up, puts it down, packs a bag. Like he's like getting ready to get out of there. He's pacing. And then he picks up the phone and calls the number back. Matt Damon answers. And he says, "You called this number from a dead guy's phone. Who are you?" And Matt Damon says, "All right, so it is you. Good. So this is I'm Staff Sergeant Sullivan. Captain Queenan, as you know, has passed away, and I'm handling the undercovers from here." He says, "Let me talk to Dignam to confirm it." He goes, "Sergeant Dignam left. He's very upset. We're all very upset. What we need is for you to come," and then he hangs up. So he's like,
shit,
man.
fuck.
So he starts going through more of Queenan's shit, and he sees Queenan's notes on Costello being an FBI informant. And he's like, "Well, fuck, man. I'm a sergeant in the Massachusetts State Police who's been helping Costello. If he's an FBI informant, that could be really bad for me."
Yeah.
And we then cut to, they're all sitting at the bar, all of Costello's guys, and they're watching the news, and they're saying that they found a body of Timothy Delahunt in the marsh, where fucking the Boston Marsh. And Fitzy's like, "I'm fucking embarrassed. You know, I spent all night dragging that body into the muck, and then they find it that quickly. It's embarrassing, you know?
Oh, my God.
What kind of fucking, was someone walking a dog? What kind of fucking dog is that?" He's like, "I can't believe he's a cop either," because they say he's a police officer. And Frank Costello says, "The cops are saying he's a cop, so I'll stop looking for the cop." And Fitzy, when I tell you to dump a body in the marsh, you dump him in the marsh. Not where some guy from John Hancock goes every Thursday to get a fucking blowjob. And he smiles and goes, "Don't laugh. This ain't reality TV."
I love that line.
And he like comes and he goes, "Proceed." And Leo does this. And then they leave.
Dude.
I love the, like, wake myself up. Let's do it.
Great quick
They
scene.
leave. Shipping Up to Boston plays.
Yeah.
Whoa! Shipping up to Boston. Whoa! Shipping up.
It's like, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, well, for fucking Boston, we got rats. Shipping up to Boston.
I played the song and I lost my spot in the notes. So
Yeah,
yeah. All right. There's a tale. He calls Frank. They're in a car. Frank's calling Matt Damon, and he's like, "There's a tail on me." He's like, "Yeah, I know. They're not very subtle. They're not going to be very subtle moving forward, Frank." He goes, "Get rid of it." He goes, "There's no need for you to go do this yourself, Frank." And he says, "Get rid of the fucking tail." Fun fact.
Ooh.
Jack Nicholson is wearing a New York Yankees hat
Yes.
in this scene. This movie takes place in Boston. Jack Nicholson refused to wear a Red Sox hat.
Refused.
That is fucking banana. It makes no sense that his character's wearing a Yankees hat.
Yep.
It makes zero sense that his character's wearing a Yankees hat. He refused to wear a Red Sox hat. He says, I'm wearing a Yankees hat in this scene. He didn't need a fucking hat. He could have gone no hat. He's like, no. You calls for a hat? Great. I'll be wearing a Yankees hat.
Yeah.
Fucking crazy.
They asked Marky Mark what he thinks of it. He said, "That's Jack Nicholson. He can do whatever the fuck he wants."
For sure. Yeah, Mark's like, yeah, whatever. It's fucking like... Yeah, I have to be like, yeah, whatever you say, Mr. Scorsese.
Yeah, exactly.
Jack Nicholson can say, "No, I'm gonna wear this hat," and like, fuck, are we gonna do?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
It's awesome.
So get rid of the fucking tail, and then
Matt Damon
goes into where Anthony Anderson and Alec Baldwin and the other guy, they're sitting there talking to the tail, and he's like, "Hey, pull that tail off of them." And you're like, "Why?" He's like, "I'm talking to Queen's undercover. We got special ops on standby. We'll take this prick tonight." He's like,
And
"All right,
Alec Baldwin's like, "Oh yeah,
let's fucking do it." He's then in the car. He's like, "All right, it's a warehouse on Sheffield. You must have a truck or container there. Go. They get there. They have a bunch of fucking coke, and he's checking it with a knife. He cuts it open and tastes it, and he goes, "Load it."
Load it.
And they start loading it. The cops are getting in position. And Leo goes, hey, are you sure there's not a tail? And he goes, were you not in the friggin' car? And he goes, how do you know they didn't take it off and then put one back on? And he goes, load it.
Yeah,
So
didn't give a fuck.
everyone keeps loading. And then Leo says to the driver in another car, Leo rode with them. And then the driver in another car is like, hey, Frank wants me to check something in the back, so you go ahead. And the guy's like, all right, watch your back. And then Leo gets the fuck out of there. Costello and his boys start leaving, and the cops pull up.
Boom.
Big gunfight ensues.
And they murk them motherfuckers.
Oh, they're just fucking blowing down Costello's guys.
Yeah.
Costello and French are in reverse, going way back. French gets shot in the chest while they're driving and crashes. Like, fucking shot me. And then he turns around so he can drive straight forward. And while he's doing that, I mean, Frank's like, how long is the guy with a bullet wound in his chest going to be a reliable driver? I should get out of this car. And he gets out. And French goes and he crashes into a trailer and like it's on fire. We see gas dripping. He pulls out a gun and goes, fuck it. And shoots himself and the car explodes.
And the moment he shoots, the car explodes. It's nice.
So great.
But now Jack Nicholson, he's running, and it's like at a construction place where there's like a bunch of different big...
it's big open. There's excavators and fucking dump trucks and stuff. He calls Matt Damon. He's like, what the hell? And
the moment he calls him, he hears Matt Damon's phone ring. And he's like, what the fuck? And he starts following the ring. And they kind of meet up.
Matt Damon knew he was there. He knew he was calling me. He walks out holding it. And he goes, how the fuck did this happen? And he says, you're an FBI informant? Are you fucking kidding me? And he like, he's been shot.
Yeah.
Too. And he like pukes up blood. He goes, grow up. Of course I talked to the FBI. He goes, I never gave up nobody. Wasn't going down anyways. And he's like, Frank, do they know about me? He's like, no, I would never give you up. You're like, he goes, what, like a son? To you? Is that what this is about? All that murdering and fucking and no sons. And he shoots Matt Damon. Matt Damon's wearing a vest. He shoots him in the vest, and Matt Damon fucking opens fire. Shoots him a couple times. He falls back.
Spits up a bunch of blood.
And then Matt Damon slowly approaches him, and he's holding the gun, and he shoots at him again. And Matt Damon just fucking opens fire.
Yeah.
Kills him, yells, you fucking rat prick, Frank! He's
fat
dead.
Rat fucking prick.
Gwen, Costello's wife, calls, and Matt Damon answers it, which is a bad call, and says, Gwen, we lost Frank. And hangs up the phone. And then goes, I got him!
I got him.
I got Costello! I guess he didn't. It's not bad because he didn't turn the phone in.
No, yeah.
He kept the phone because he's been fucking calling him. He can't just have the. And they look into that phone and they're like, Matt Damon, you have that phone.
Yeah.
And he's like,
shit.
Yeah, about that. We're now.
So he's trying to cover his tracks right now.
Darlene back at the station. Darlene gives Matt Damon a coffee mug with champagne in it. And Anthony Anderson remembers Leonardo DiCaprio. He's like, I went to the academy with him. He's sitting in your office. He's been waiting to talk to you. So he goes in to meet with him, and he's like, hey, I want you to know Matt Damon's pretty awkward with him because he doesn't know, but is he going to recognize me, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, so I want you to know I'm recommending you for the Medal of Merit. He goes, what's that, like a gold star around here? He goes, it's the highest honor we got. He's like, all right, whatever. I just want my identity back. You can just want to get paid and get my identity back. You can excuse my attitude. The only person that I've talked to in the last 6 months has been a court-ordered shrink. He's like, yeah, how's that going? And he's like, well, just stop it. He's like, what are you going to do about Costello's rat in the department? And Matt Damon goes, I'm going to find the prick. I'm going to find him, and I'm going to arrest him. He's
and
like,
I liked his acting because it sounded like he was lying.
Yeah.
It sounded like he was lying, you know?
Yeah, he goes, look, he's asking him about, he's like, is there anything you can give us to help? Like, he's trying to cover his bases.
Yeah.
Like, does he know? He's like, look, I just want to get my money and I want to go home.
Yeah,
he's like, all right, yeah. I just can't get into your file without the password. And he goes, it's my name, William Costigan Jr. They gave it to me in case I ever had to explain myself to someone like you. He goes, it's your name. Of course it is. I gotta go do this in the other room. This thing's getting all friggin' bluey on me. And he leaves, which I don't know why he left.
Yeah.
So he's over in another room, fucking looking up William Costigan. all this stuff. And as he's in there, he's looking around and he sees an envelope on Matt Damon's desk.
Holy
And
shit.
he moves some shit that's covering it and sees that it says Citizens Trust on it. And the first Citizens is X'd out. And
Yep.
he's like, oh.
Shit.
He's like, no fucking wow, I'm in the office of the guy? That's crazy. And he goes out and he looks at Matt Damon while he's looking up shit. And then he leaves. Matt Damon goes to his office. He's like, all right, everything checks out. Let's get you paid. And then sees that he's gone and sees that Citizens Trust is visible. And he's like, fuck. So he goes into Leo's file and he deletes it. So no one knows he's a fucking cop.
Yep.
Yeah. Leo is waiting outside Matt Damon and his girlfriend's apartment.
Mm-hmm.
And she like walks up around the corner and sees him and kind of stops. He goes, hey, I'm not here for that. I have something for you. And he gives it to her and he says, you're the only person I trust with this. He's like, I want you to open this if something happens to me or if I call you and tell you to open it. And she's like, okay. And she says, hey, listen, and he goes, whatever you want to say to me, why don't you think hard about it? And if you still want to say it, you say it to me in 2 weeks. And she goes, okay. And then he leaves. Matt Damon's asleep. Like, I don't know if Leo was there
Yeah,
while
it was
he
a
was
weird.
asleep.
Yeah.
But she walks in and she wakes him up and he goes, whoa, I had a dream I was dead. And she says, dead is hard. Life is much easier. And then she has an envelope that she has him open. And he looks at her and goes, really? She goes, yeah. And that speck right there they think is the penis. And he's like, we're having a boy? And then they start like kissing and hugging. So she's pregnant with a boy. Probably Leo's kid and not his. But
which is part of the conspiracy, but yeah.
I mean, he still had sex with her. Different conspiracy.
But he was so questioning it, like it was like what? Like the way he questioned it like 3 times, and the first 2 times was like he couldn't believe it, kind of thing.
There's no way like they didn't have sex ever.
No, for sure.
Like for sure.
But the fact that he
wouldn't sign on for that if he wasn't sure that he ejaculated inside of her.
But to come in her, yeah, that's kind of like what it's saying. Because if he couldn't get it up in one scene that they talked, maybe he's not coming in her. Maybe that's why he was questioning it.
But he would have questioned it more. I dispute that one.
Okay.
There's other good ones. I dispute because he would have been like, I've never come when we've had like, no, it's not mine. Fuck you.
True, yeah.
Like he would have been like, this can't possibly be mine.
Mm.
Yeah, he wouldn't have just rolled with it.
Yeah, true.
Damon is getting in the shower and she's going through the mail and there's a letter addressed to Matt Damon from Leonardo DiCaprio and she's like, the fuck is this?
Yeah.
She's like, they know each other? What the fuck is going on here? And she opens it, and there's a disc in it that says "Play Me."
I always thought that was what he handed her. Didn't he hand that to her?
No, he mailed that to him.
I thought it was to her though.
No, it was addressed to Matt Damon. That's why she was like, "What the fuck is this?" And she waited until he went in the shower to open it, and then she plays the disc, and it's Costello and him talking about fucking him, having to find himself, him being Costello's rat, blah blah blah. And he comes out and she's listening to it and she looks angry. He's like, what?
And she unplugs the headphones.
She unplugs it and it's playing loud over the speaker system. And he goes and shuts it off. And she goes, and I thought I was the liar. And she goes in the bathroom. He's like, well, I can explain that. And like it's in there. And he then goes out and calls Costigan. There's a number in there. And he calls Leo. And he's like, hey, how's the sound quality? I was worried about that. He goes, what do you want, Bill? And he goes, Costello recorded... So he explains this real quick. He goes, Costello recorded everything. Every conversation he ever had, he recorded it, and he gave it to his lawyer. His lawyer gave it to me after he died. Isn't that ironic? He trusted me more than anyone else in the world, you rat fuck. He's like... was like, what do you want, Bill? He's like, I want my identity back. You two-faced faggot. He goes, 3:00, where Queenan died.
See,
you keep your cell on.
Leo knows.
Yeah. He then goes, he's like, honey, I thought we talked about this. This is my job. And they punches the door, which fucking bananas.
Yeah.
He's now at 344 Wash, and he walks up, and he's on the roof, and Leo's hiding around the corner, and he kicks the door and puts the gun to his hand. He's like, whoa, put the gun down. I came here to talk some sense to you. He's like, no, you didn't come here for that. You came here to get arrested. He goes, I can get you your money. He goes, what'd you say? He said, I can get you your money. You need to just calm down. And he fucking pistol whips him in the face, and then he handcuffs him. He's like, you didn't come here for any of that. You came to get arrested. He's like, oh, what is this, a citizen's arrest? You're not a cop anymore, all right? I erased your file. He's like, oh, you erased my file, huh? And like puts him up against the wall and has the gun. He goes, yeah, shoot a cop, Einstein. See how that happens. He goes, what would happen is this bullet would go right through your fucking head.
It's great.
It's great. It would.
Yeah.
And he goes, but I'm not giving you that. I'm not giving you the bagpipes and bullshit. I'm bringing you down. And he's like talking shit. And then he goes, shut the fuck up. Hits him a bunch of, his face is fucked up right now.
Yeah, very fucked up.
And he's walking up, and then Anthony Anderson walks up onto the roof. You're like, what the fuck is this?
What is this?
And he like hides, and he points the gun. He goes, drop your weapon and step away from Sergeant Sullivan. And he hides behind him and points the gun at Anthony Anderson. He's like, hey, I called you specifically. All right, I have evidence cold linking this prick to Costello. Where's Dignam? I told you to bring Dignam. He goes, maybe you do, but right now I need you to drop your weapon and step away from Sergeant Sullivan. And he goes, he's Costello's rat, all right? You know who I am. You know who I am. And he goes down the steps, and he's pointing the gun, and Anthony Anderson's following him. And he gets to the elevator, and he opens it, and they get in there. Door closes. He hits it to go. And as they're going down the elevator, Matt Damon goes, I cannot wait to watch you explain this to a fucking Suffolk County jury, you prick. This is going to be fucking fun. And he sits there for a minute, and he goes, just fucking kill me.
Just fucking kill me.
Just fucking kill me. And he goes, I am killing you. And then the elevator door opens, and Leo gets shot in the fucking face. And you're like, whoa! And it's the other guy who's been there with fucking Matt Damon, and he's only in The Departed. That guy. And Matt Damon's like, what the fuck? And he's in handcuffs. That guy just killed Leonardo DiCaprio's dead.
Yeah.
Anthony Anderson then comes out of the other elevator door and looks and sees that Leo's dead on the ground, sees that guy with a gun, and is like, what happened? And then that guy shoots Anthony Anderson in the face.
Yeah, he's fucking dead.
And he looks at Matt Damon and he goes, do you really think you're the only guy Costello had on the inside?
It's me and you now.
He was going to turn us both into the FBI, you understand? It's you and me now, you understand? We got to look out for each other, you understand? And he's like, uh-huh. And Matt Damon has like a cloth. He's like, here, give me the gun. And he cleans it off, and then he shoots that guy in the head.
Yeah.
Because why the fuck would he keep that guy around?
Yeah.
That guy does him no favors.
None. Yeah.
We then get the bagpipes and bullshit. We hear it. We're at Leonardo DiCaprio's funeral, and it's whatever the bagpipe funeral.
Aim, fire.
Damon is meeting with some people because 3 fucking police officers just died. He's the only one that was there. He's got to explain all that, and he says that guy, which is accurate, killed Leo and Anthony Anderson, and he killed that guy.
Yeah.
He's like, I immediately checked the vitals on both Troopers Brown and Costigan and discovered that they had expired. I want to go on record that I'm recommending William Costigan for the Medal of Merit, which, great, he's dead. He's got no family. No one gets to be proud of that. He just gets it.
Yeah. Yeah, he's using it as like...
Yeah, he was a good cop. It's sad that that's what happened to him.
Mm-hmm.
The therapist is crying at the funeral, and then Matt Damon is like walking down. He's with some cops, and he looks back and sees that she's walking behind. He's like, I'll catch up to you guys later. And he takes a step back, and she just keeps walking. He goes, what about the baby? And she keeps walking.
She knows.
Yeah. We then see he's at the apartment. He gets off the elevator, and there's an old woman walking with her puppy.
Bunch of symbolism in this next 3 seconds.
And he goes, hey, pup. And he leans down, and the lady pulls the dog away from him, and she goes and gets on the elevator. And he's like, huh.
And the
fuck
dog,
was that all about?
The dog kind of ignores him, too.
Dog went with the owner.
Yeah.
Like, all right. He then goes, he unlocks the door of the apartment, gets in there, and we see Mark walk up. He's got things over his shoes so he doesn't leave shoe prints. He's got gloves on. He's got a gun with a silencer. He's pointing it at Matt Damon.
And Matt Damon's just like...
He goes, okay. and then he shoots him in the face.
Yeah.
And Matt Damon falls. Marky Mark puts a ski mask over his face. He walks out. We then see on the balcony a rat run across the railing and like stop and chew on some shit with the State House in the background. The end. 9 out of 10. Great fucking movie.
So I'll explain really quick the symbolism of that last shot. So the dog is just obviously saying that he wants a normal life, and he's never going to be in a normal life, and he's never going to be like acknowledged like that as like a real person almost. And the moment, another little thing, the moment that the alter egos change for both of our main characters, Leo and Matt, is the moment they both die. The moment that their alter egos become like, and they change to like back to who they really are, they die immediately. Next thing, when he's walking down the hallway, Matt Damon, to go into his apartment, there's X's on the floor.
There we go.
And then, last but not least, the most ironic part of or maybe not the most, but big ironic part of the film is him holding groceries. So the opening scene was him holding groceries, being brought into
Costello giving him the groceries
and becoming a part of the mob. And now he's basically walking into his apartment for the last time out of the mob now, just out of the mob. And yeah, that's the irony of it.
There we go, guys.
Full circle. And then obviously the metaphor with the rat on the railing. And it's supposed to have that all these rats are part of this city, that Boston is overflowed with fucking rats. And all they want is to be able to like live a normal life in essence, and how there's something greater that they're trying to be.
Nobody knows what rats want.
Yeah. But
nobody knows. Whoever the fuck put that, wherever you read that, fuck that person.
No, it's very...
Nobody knows what a rat wants.
No. But it's supposed to say there's
Not a fucking human being on Earth is like, rats want to be more than they are. We just gotta give the rats a chance, guys. Come on, please. Please just give the rats a chance. You never know. No one knows the potential of rats. You give a rat a chance. You give a mouse a cookie. He'll ask for a glass of milk and a sandwich or whatever the fuck happens in that stupid fucking kid's book. You give a rat a chance. He can be president of the United States.
Yeah.
Fuck whoever put that.
Well, it's supposed to be about people.
Fuck them.
About trauma and how people want to become more than what their trauma like leads them on to be, but they still end up basically being a rat, which is funny too because Costello...
people with trauma, like it really helps their trauma to be compared to a fucking rat.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's, yeah.
But Costello, biggest rat of them all.
Absolutely.
Biggest rat of them all. It's kind of funny how he's like, these fucking rats are overflowing my fucking city and shit, and then we come to find out he's the biggest rat.
He's the biggest rat, absolutely.
Yeah. It's great.
Yeah. Guys, we're going to be right back. We're going to be talking about the future, all right? And you guys love the future.
I love the future.
So stick around. And we're back. We're fresh off the heels of talking about that great movie.
Mm-hmm.
And Britain, one of the greatest movies ever made, The Departed.
Yeah. And I love how Marky Mark ends up the hero, essentially.
But you know what movie's even better?
Which movie's better? Or?
Yeah.
Dude, it's The Nutty Professor.
It's The Nutty Professor, guys. Eddie Murphy just don't quit.
He doesn't.
He ain't gonna quit.
Never.
Guys, greatest movie of all time, The Nutty Professor. If you haven't seen it, do yourself a favor and go fucking see it, guys.
Come on.
You know what movie? I mean, I hope it's better than The Departed, but I highly doubt it will be. Jurassic World Dominion, guys. Braden and I, first time ever, first time in 5-6 Kings history, we are going to go see the movie in the theaters. And then bring that podcast to you guys.
Oh, my God.
Guys, we're going to go from the theater to the microphone. It's probably going to be a little looser. I'm in a fucking movie theater. I'm not taking my notes. But we won't know how much the movie made.
Yeah.
We can't know the budget. We won't know awards. We might know some ratings. Might know some critic reviews. That's about it. There won't be many fun facts.
But there might be some spoilers.
No might. There will 1,000% be spoilers.
Yes.
We're doing a movie. We're going to try to do it in our normal format, and it is currently in the theaters when we're doing it. There will absolutely be spoilers. I promise you that.
Yeah.
I promise you. Jurassic World Dominion episode, full of spoilers.
I wanted to let you down lightly. You know?
there might be some spoilers. There are going to be spoilers.
Yeah, for sure.
But guys, check it out. So where can you watch it? Only in theaters, baby. Only in theaters.
Yep.
But Brayden, so I'm sure they love The Departed. God, it was fucking 3 hours long. That was a long episode. Long episode. I'm sure they loved hearing us break down The Departed. They're going to love us. Unprecedented. A movie in theaters. We're doing an episode on it. But let's say someone's listening right now, and they want us to do their favorite movie.
Okay.
How would they go about getting us to do their favorite movie?
David, now it's easier than ever. All they have to do is just go to our website, which is 56kings.com.
Hold on. So you mean FIVESIXKING.com?
Yeah.
I mean, and so like, is there like a tab up there that says submit ideas?
Dude, it's literally you just go to the top, it says submit. You click submit.
And then you go in there and you just enter the movie that you want us to do and we get
type
notified?
it in. Yep.
Oh, that doesn't seem. Do they have other cool stuff on the website? Like, let's say, like if I was to design 56kings.com and I was gonna have like a graphic designer do it for us, I probably would have like a bio for each host and like a who are the 56 Kings section. Is that on there?
Oh, David, absolutely.
So I would also, like every episode we do, I would have like a section for it where you can click on it. There's like a short review that we wrote, not as detailed as the episode, and it would show our ratings and then the cumulative 56 Kings rating and a link. Like you just click on it and it has the YouTube video of this episode. Like, do they have that on there?
David, you're in luck. Because it is.
Oh my God. And
it's on the website.
And if I was to do, you know, a 56 Kings website, I would absolutely have some merch. Do they have merch on there?
What up?
Hold on. So I can go on there and I can buy a 56 Kings shirt.
Oh, David, you could rep this all goddamn day long.
And does it come in more than one color?
It comes in two. We got white and black.
That's more than one.
Because over here, we like to be inclusive. We would like to...
We like to be exclusive. Only black and white.
Yeah.
No yellow, no brown, just black and white. All right? That is all that is allowed at the 56 Kings.
That's right. I meant, it's just,
yeah,
whatever.
exclusive. And let's say, like, you know, the 56 Kings, they've been around for over a year now.
Dude.
You know, they gave you a year of premium podcasting. They had a lot of great episodes. They covered a lot of great movies, a lot of bad movies.
Yep.
I mean, I feel like they should have an award show that the fans could go on and, like, there's just a tab that says award show and they can click on it and they could vote on the 56 King award show. Like, does that exist?
It truly is a magical time of the year, David, because we are about to do our award show.
And they can vote on it on 56kings.com?
Yes, David.
I mean, like, and then if I was designing it and I had the awards and I was going to let people vote, I'd say, like, I'd pick a date where voting can end. Let's say June 30th.
Yeah.
I'd have voting end on, I don't know, June 30th. Is that what they did?
That's exactly what they did.
Oh, my God.
June 30th, to be exact.
Oh, my God. Like, that is just...
June 30th.
And then they'll record the episode on the award show on July 11th?
Yep.
Oh, my God. I mean, like, guys, 56kings.com sounds like your one-stop shop for all things 56 Kings.
What's
like,
cool is it's so user-friendly. It's like multiple choice, too, so you don't have to, like, type it in. There's no pressure. It's just like, which one do I like, you know?
I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's so user-friendly.
So user-friendly.
It's so great. I don't know why, like, what you're doing still watching this. You should be going to 56kings.com right now, if we're being honest.
You should.
Yeah. Head over there. And while you're there, buy some merch.
Please.
Vote on the awards. And guys, wherever you're listening to this right now, if it's on YouTube, let's say you're watching us on YouTube, hit it with a thumbs up. Subscribe to our page.
Yeah.
You know, let people know about the 56 Kings. Is it on Apple Podcast? Subscribe.
You're damn
Automatically
right.
download. It means nothing to you. It means the world to us. And guys, you know, something that would take some time, but leave a 5-star review. You know, give us 5 stars. Leave a review about what you like about the show.
Please.
Guys, like it would mean the world to us, all right? Subway broke our heart by signing with, you know, fucking mixed race Jim Edmonds with the New York Yankees.
And Derek fucking Jeter.
You know, life's been rough ever since then. A 5-star review with some good words about the show would really go a long way.
Yeah.
Follow us on all social media at 56kings. And Braden, so like they know where to go for all of that. You know, it's been covered ad nauseum.
Yeah.
But when are they going to go to 56kings.com? Because like we post all the new episodes on 56kings.com. So like when would they go there for the episodes?
David, it's every motherfucking Monday.
Hold on. So every motherfucking Monday. So like Memorial Day there was a new episode?
That's right.
Labor Day there's going to be a new episode?
Absolutely.
Let's say, I don't know, like fucking Easter Monday, or like Christmas was on a Monday.
Fuck
Martin
the eggs.
Luther King Day.
Fuck the presents. Shout out to Martin Luther King. And we're gonna.
I was fucking hoping you would just keep it going.
And yeah, every motherfucking Monday, David.
I mean, every motherfucking Monday, new episodes of the 56 Kings. Guys, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I love you all very much, and we'll see you next week.
Peace out.
Beach county, that's where I'm from. When niggas get gunned down and one.